Now, this is the weekend of the last, again, it really isn't the last contest because Bob Lampione has rescheduled his for a week from today. And every time we think there's the last contest of the year, well, we don't know. John Brodak and Buzz are coming down this weekend. We're going to have dinner at Franco's. And this is Friday night. We're looking at our email, and we got a bunch of pictures of Ed Captanelli's Tiger Cat. This looks like a very cool little plane. Now, we didn't get a real caption for these pictures yet, but I could tell by the pictures. It's got dihedral. That looks like a cool little plane. And we're going to see it, of course, out at VSC, so maybe we'll even get to see this out at VSC. Now, we were really hoping this was going to be a great weekend weather-wise, but they said there's a 60% chance of rain tomorrow. Don Herdman and his grandson Matt are coming down from Vermont, so, and again, we're going to have a nice dinner at Franco's, so there'll be a lot of action going on. Now we want to test out our camera plane. Now, I was thinking of a cool thing Nikki could do is take a couple of pictures of this and a couple of pictures of my Tiger Cat and combine them. It's like a father and son deal. This is a cool little plane. Now, Ed made some good use of the DVD that I did on my Tiger Cat using the white ink. And it looks like he's even done some shading on there too. Really nice. I can't tell what size motors they are. They look like little half-A's. But again, I can't tell. But see, this is the kind of deal, you can't really, black ink wouldn't make it on this. So you really have to, well, that's the deal anyway. It's either white ink or nothing on this color paint. Anyway, that's a sharp little plane, I have to admit. Whoops, there's Grandpa. The old Tiger Cat. Oh my God. What great memories flying at. Having everybody fly it after top 20 day being eliminated. Oh man. We had the sport flying day of the century at the Nats. Well, it's the Saturday before the last Circle Burner contest. John and Buzz are in town. It's Saturday night, and we're going to run up to Franco's. I think we have a few other guests coming down, Don Herdman and his grandson. And we're going to have the usual dinner at Franco's. They just love having us there. And it's coming up on a holiday we love the most, Halloween. I love my Gerber daisies. Now, we talked to John and Buzz. They were in New York City seeing Mamma Mia. And tomorrow John wants to fly his scale plane. We'll try to get that on video. And the leaves, as you can see, are already starting to fall here in beautiful downtown Rutherford. Now, from looking at the sky, it was red as can be on the way up here. Red skies at night usually mean we should have a nice day tomorrow, I hope. Now, this is one of Rich's friends that owns this place, and actually, it's a nice place. The only problem is a lot of gangsters hang out here, so you can't, there's no Italian jokes when you're here. There's a lot of big gold jewelry on display here. A lot of people in dark suits. Look at them, look at them, look at them.
Right here?
All right, we're here.
I put my coat there, but I'm
Just make sure the pizza oven's going, that's the main thing. We don't care if they have anything else. Give them a hug.
Hey!
There he is. What's the young lady with you?
Hey, how you doing?
Are you?
What's happening, motorcycle man?
Up there, darn it. All right. Now what?
He did, I did not.
It was muddy.
It was too muddy for me.
Did it rain much out there?
Yes, it did.
It was raining.
Let's go see the celebrities are here.
Imagine that.
Smile, imagine that. What a shock. We're in the bathroom.
He's got a camera.
Robert Crespo.
Hey, Edith. There he is! How come you missed a good day of flying? You want to sit with the riffraff or with Michelle Obama? And John. How are you?
Where's Michelle? I'll sit with her. Where do you want to sit?
You got the prime seat.
Still like
With the riffraff.
I'm a lefty. I usually sit on this.
You had any difficulty finding the place?
He knows I'm here. They just put the wood in the pizza oven. Wood-fired oven pizza. I'm the only one that gets pizza here, though.
You're supposed to. I don't know. I can't answer.
What's happening, my man?
Howdy.
You guys have a good day today? Did you go to a show too?
Oh, no.
Oh, you sissy. You should have went. It's only money. Don't worry about it. These cheap guys. Mamma mia, mamma mia.
You want to sit next to Wendy?
And there's no rubbing my leg under the table. You gotta pay like everybody else. Boy, she zeroed right in on those knees, huh?
Some of them are down.
They sent me here.
Good. Sit here.
We go to Brodaz, yes. Oh, you go too? Uh-huh. And this year we brought Melinda and Billy with us.
Is it lighter than the whole time? Right?
Get more ready.
I remember. I don't know how much it weighs.
I actually have fun. I said I do.
My life, I didn't know what to expect. What? Well, we were pretty busy. I loved it because I love camp. I went to camp my whole life. And it was like, oh, but it was in the sense of what I like about camp is you're busy. Yeah.
So this meeting of the organized crime family of New Jersey. Oh, here they go. Look. Witness protection is now over. Hope it's going to be a good day tomorrow morning. Looking forward to an ice contest tomorrow. No, we got up really early this morning. We had a lot of stuff to do. We're watching our kid's cat. He's the main reason we had to go over there and play with him for a little while. Well, I hope the day is going to play out as well as it looks. Get to see John Brodak's scale strip today, and looks like we're going to have a real nice end to the 2009 contest season. Although we still have Bob Lampione's rescheduled contest if the weather holds up next week. So of course our first obligation in the morning before we go down to the flying field and see the guys, we gotta go feed the cat. Don't starve the cat. Well, I see everybody's getting their Halloween decorations out this year. Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that Karen and I like about our town. You got a lot of people with these things, I don't know what you call them, where they want to decorate for every holiday. I don't know. We just got some new mums. The mums are blooming, the pumpkins. It's a lot of fun this time of year. And of course we always look forward to sitting out on our porch with a big bag of candy when the kids come around. One of the joys of living in Rutherford, New Jersey. Now this is the little kitty that the kids got from the shelter. His name is Punky. He's now like 150 pounds. His name is Punky. Punky! Get away from that camera. Get away from that. Hey, get away from that camera. What a beast. What a beast. What a beast. You don't mark out the camera. See, you think you think he would say, well, I really just love the fact you guys come and feed me in the morning. The reality is all he wants is the food. Give me the food. Get the hell out and go see your model plane contest. Just feed me.
Okay, Punky.
Punky, you want to be the star of a Windy video? Look at that. He loves me. Oh, I'm loved by a cat. Punky, you're too much. Anyway, it's starting to shape up. Looking outside like it's a nice day. We were going to try to get down there. Well, we're not that late. The Ferrari watch says it's breakfast. Come on. Punky, let's go. Look how obedient he is, too. He's purring. Look how huge he is. He's huge. Punky, get away from that video camera. Come on, we're going down the field. Leave him here.
He's a huge boy.
I go to pick him up. He's absolutely huge. He's a watermelon.
We'll play with you tonight. We don't have time this morning.
Yeah, we have to go see the model planes fly. It's the end of the flying season, Punky. All right, listen, Punky. You be good. Yeah, I know he's got his toys. Just throw them all in the living room. He really is a sweet cat. But we're off to the flying field. Oh, the trees are starting to turn little by little next couple of weeks. Looks like air is pretty stable. Flags are all straight up and down, and you can't see it now, but the steam from the generating plant is going almost straight up. All indications we have a nice day ahead of us. There's the steam coming out of the generating plant. It looks like we might have a good one brewing here. Oh yeah, the flag's not even moving. We might have one of those exceptionally nice fall days for a contest. Steam rising off of the power plant, going straight up, good indication. It's nice and early. Oh, they got some of the usual suspects are already here. Oh, you can tell it's juice time. I thought you said I could fly first if I got here early.
Well, you're not here early enough.
Thank you. Is this the one with
You're a star with your Cobra. Wait till you see that Cobra on there,
By the
baby.
way, thank you very much for that.
I want to do a photo shoot with your Cobra and the R1.
We could do that.
You know, and a
Cool.
couple of planes out in front.
How cool
But you
would that
gotta bring your car down to my house.
Oh, gee.
We'll do it in my backyard with the pavers on the ground.
That'd be neat. That's a long ride, though.
What do I care? You got a lot of money. You know John Tatavio?
That's a good point.
He'll carpet your house for free.
He's already done
He'll
it.
carpet your garage. Is it juice time yet, Rich?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
It's definitely.
Yeah, I got up this morning real early. We had to feed the cat. It was cold.
Hey,
The cat
when I
was
left
cold.
My house, it was 34.
Ooh. I'm going to take a ride up to your house. I got the directions.
Yeah,
I got the camera mounted on the bike.
that's awesome.
See you shoot some deer with the gumballs and stuff.
Aaron, good morning. How are you? Good to see you.
Karen's not impressed with this early getting up. She says that's bullshit. We should stay in bed.
I don't blame her.
Motor, no wonder it doesn't work.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Seems like I've been here before. There we go. Used. Boy, without juice would we be in trouble here. This is the first day I had a coat on too, you know it?
fuel. The fuel is thick. It's not running good.
I think Rich's blood is thick. Hey, that guy from Spain ever call you?
Yes.
Yeah, he's going to take a cab here. We have a friend from Spain, Javiar,
Yeah.
who's in New York City, and he said he could get a cab and get down here.
First run.
Yeah, first run, you're dead.
There she is. Good morning, Karen.
This is what Richard Oliver says, reason he'll never move up here. Remember the time Richard
Yeah,
Oliver
yeah.
came up here?
Yeah, yeah.
It was so cold. I said, this isn't cold. This is just a little bit chilly.
Yeah.
Jesus, it's so cold. Juiced a juice. There we go. Buddy will get a face full of oil when this thing starts. Right in the nose. Richard Oliver, eat your heart out. Bill Rutherford, eat your heart out, baby.
I've propped J3s easier than this.
Hey, all summer, Rich was complaining it was over 100 degrees when he was flying. All summer, I heard it. We never had that problem. Whoa! Man, Rich, take it easy.
That might be my fault.
They're starting to roll in here now. Rich has the first little warm-up flight here. Somebody's on the back circle already. Got a lot of water in a parking lot here. In fact, the whole parking lot's a pond. The last couple days we had a lot of rain. But it looks like we're going to have a good one. I hope. All right, I give up. What is this all about? We're stealing chairs?
You know those seats?
No, the ones you never use in a van?
Those are yours.
I got,
That's yours.
looks like mine. Nah, mine are green.
No, they are.
They're green.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's 15 years old.
John couldn't bear having them. He says, what am I going to use them for? So
You
we
leave them
covered
here. They
been
won't be here in the
They've
morning.
been here for weeks.
Really?
Nobody's touched them. That's the amazing part. More than a week.
That's the back seat from the car. From my old van that I gave John. You believe that? Oh my
so
God.
much. They didn't even rip the plastic off.
Wow.
He came down and covered them up. But they're still wet.
Yeah. And there's the other one over there. That's funny. We're living like, this is like North Carolina where Kent lives. They take the car, the seats out. Kent was telling us down in North Carolina, they buy a van or a minivan and take the doors off. Ride around with the doors off. Hard to believe.
Very competitive, but if you go in there and say, I'm going to trust you, you're crazy. Because they all want to make money. And a lot of these cars, they're not making any money on them when they sell them. They only make a couple $100. This girl might only make $50, you know? And
Once we put it out on the internet, she was calling us every day.
Well,
Every day we get a call.
I see. I didn't know she was calling on your number, so I didn't know.
She was calling on my number too. I don't know how she even got that number. You left my number?
I don't give the house number out.
Okay.
yeah, no, I know she's decent. I don't, you know, she's a Korean girl, you know?
So John is getting good use out of Wendy's old van. I'm so happy.
This. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Here and that's what it's just gonna clip in and out.
Yeah. So. Very nice.
What does that mean on the wing? What is it? What does that mean? Americans go home? You're a fat ass, Wendy, or what is that?
No, the phrase in Persian pronounced Shaheen.
Shaheen?
Yeah. And Shaheen in Persian means falcon.
Falcon. Ooh,
But-
that's John Datavio would like that.
But
Let me see the
Shaheen-
bottom. Flip that over. I saw the pictures of this. Lampione sent me pictures. Yeah, that did a nice job. You know, I made a video for you of the flushing. It's on my desk. It says bring to Cena. And I said, I'll never see him again. He went back to Saudi Arabia, wherever the hell he came from.
No. Let me just
That's nice. I like that. And when they want to see your AMA number, say that's it in Saudi Arabia or whatever.
No, it's not Saudi Arabia.
Hey, what's the difference? Persia's different, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you got two of these things. Man, you got an Air Force here. Look at this. You need some foam? Holy mackerel.
Well, if you keep your plane on the car,
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't have a shop here. Just a
Oh, he's got
product.
two of these. It's like the Persian Air Force
Like
here.
the
Look at this.
wingtips on this.
This is
Yeah.
actually Tempest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very nice.
Man, I hope George brought the bomber.
No, not today. I didn't.
For scale, you could win scale. You can beat John Brodak, beat him to a pulp.
Right.
I'm judging, so you're in. If I judge you, yeah, John's here. You didn't come to dinner with us last night.
Oh, no.
We got a guy coming from New York City, from Spain. You're gonna have to ride him back to Manhattan, O'Neill. You go through Manhattan, right?
No.
Cena does. Look at this. That's
Very nice.
I used something called FDR.
FDR drive. I told you. This is the way I told you to come up, right?
it was better. FDR is better.
It was close to me because I'm right
Yeah.
there.
The east side, you get off the bridge.
Now,
up to
I'm assuming that's the Persian flag, green,
It is,
like an
yes.
Italian flag. Okay. And what significance? The lettering is the same, so it means it's a falcon, or
No, I scratch built that one. I spent a lot of time, and then by mistake I used auto paint on it. It turned heavy,
it's heavy. Yeah.
and then when that one turned heavy,
Here's a clue: auto paint is for cars.
When
You
that
notice
one-
they don't paint cars with Brodak dope? That's
When that one
a
turned
message there.
heavy, I was so disappointed. I haven't
Yeah,
flown it yet,
yeah.
but it flies really good.
It's very easy to use car paint and make a plane heavy. Very little amount.
Is it, George?
So I wanted
Depends how much you
to
put on it.
quickly
It's true.
finish
These are the
that.
car-
I used the same pattern,
true. One
but
coat added
after I saw
1.2
that one
ounces
flying, I had a friend of mine
airplane.
flying.
Well, this one flies better, right?
It hasn't been flown yet,
Oh, okay.
but
Wife decided they were
I
going
tried to
Universal
fly it
Studios
last week with
two daughters.
Jose.
Last week they had to go there with
my
them.
header turned out so hot, the fuel started boiling
Oh.
inside the tank.
How are you?
So I made suggested I made this. So
Yeah, you don't have enough. This hole isn't big enough.
it's not enough.
Well, that's.
It wasn't there.
It
even.
gets. Oh, it wasn't there.
No.
Forget it.
So the
Fly with the cowling off
yeah.
until you get. See, this is thick. See how thick this is? When you make this part out of carbon fiber, it's thin. See how thick that is? That's almost a quarter of an inch thick.
Yeah.
When you make this out of carbon fiber, then this is thinner. So what you do, the next one you make, put fiberglass on it, and then carve out almost all the wood.
So I made Jose suggested to make this hole and then this one.
Yes. Yeah,
So
yeah.
now we're gonna fly. But this is actually 62 ounces. Turned out
62 is okay. But car paint, what you got to do if you use car paint is use an airbrush and just the slightest amount. If you put it on like you paint a car, it's always too heavy. As Rich knows, as we all know.
No, actually, that
Hard
one
lessons.
I painted. It was really right on the track. For the last clear, I asked my friend. He's a professional painter.
Yeah, but he doesn't paint model planes.
That's
It's
my mistake.
It's like asking a guy that uses a jackhammer to do dental work. Yeah, he has a tool that does that,
For
but
the last clear, I asked him. He shot
of
the clear.
course. See, but if you came to my house and did the clear, I could put the automotive on very thin, but
Yeah.
it takes all day. You got to do it with an airbrush.
So he put it on. It ran 10 spots, which I had to
Right,
do. I
right.
wanted him not to make sure it's not running.
Right,
because
right.
And then the final clear was 12 ounce.
12 ounces?
12 ounces.
We did
12
We
ounces!
did what? It was 1.2 ounces.
The whole finish on my yellow plane, starting with the raw wood, is 6.2.
But that's
The whole paint.
that's windy or not.
No, that's airbrush. That's very thin. He said it's very heavy, Neil.
No, it's not actually. It's 70.
I like the little exhaust manifolds. See, and it's not, the worst part is not that it's heavy, but then you
Hi,
need,
Bob. How are you?
then you need nose weight to make it balanced. Then it's doubly a kick in the
He
ass.
said he was trying to follow suit with a national champion. He wanted to build a heavy airplane.
He wants a concourse winner, buy a trophy.
He was trying to imitate you.
I taught him how to spray.
Yeah, we noticed. 82 ounces.
Oh, I left that thing on. All right. That's to help me breathe at night.
Robert. Good morning,
Good morning,
Robert.
Neil.
What'd your wife punch you in the nose?
I said that already.
And don't worry, I got a nose first aid kit with me in case somebody goes boink and you're
How you feeling?
not good, but I'm here.
Thought he might be back.
Bob,
all right.
do you have one of these nuts?
He left
Oh, you could feel the difference. Car paint, Brodak dope. Car paint, Brodak dope.
I asked Randy to send it. He sent it for me.
But that's a hard lesson for everybody to learn with car paint.
Was the colors car paint too?
No, clear is.
The colors don't seem to matter. It's when you put the clear on, because you see it getting shinier and shinier, you think I didn't weigh anything. When you put it on a scale, it's horrible.
We put it up. We weighed the one plane. We did 1.2
Now, what does this symbol signify?
Well, your buddy that paints cars, he knows you can't build. But a guy that doesn't model paints it like he's a mason, you know? Just put the cement on.
No, he put
It says
it was like 2 ounces of paint.
Oh, yeah. He said that was 12 ounces of clear. My God, the whole finish on the bomber isn't 12 ounces.
when I was young. So my best friend in life.
See how thick that cowling is? He didn't have the hole cut. Now, if you look how thick that cowling is, if you made it out of glass or composite,
Are you going back to
Even got in there with a Dremel tool. and
yeah, oh yeah, you don't need it that thick.
Sorry, these are like
It's my Thunderbird is with the Rojet 40.
The black one?
No, the white one in the car. There's 46 ounces.
Oh, okay. Well,
And that's clear coated. Brodak dope, moon coated, clear coat.
if you're real careful, I think you could get it away with it. Richard Oliver seems to get away with it, but
Yeah.
if you get happy with it, man,
No, you have to
man.
thin the stuff out a lot.
Yeah.
Spray it.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been working with Bob Brookins. He's been helping me do motorcycle parts. But you can't weigh a motorcycle part because the thing's already pounds, you know.
Randy sent it to me. No, it's for the heat.
See the back of this should have knurls on it. You know what knurl? See, that's good, but it should be more.
No, this is like the problem.
No, I'm showing you a problem. This is going to be a problem. This should be roughened up so it bites.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
What do you need? Another nut?
Another this knot. Randy says send it to me.
This is a P8. Oh, see, if
yeah.
this is
a
not
VF. Is Roger the same?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
do you have?
I'm getting seen a washer. See how that has knurls and makes it very rough? Now let me see yours. See yours is, where's the one you just had? It's not that rough. The side that goes toward the propeller, you got this backwards.
Yeah, I just.
This should be, this should be the rough side facing the propeller. Ah, Billy and Melinda are here with the Ducati already. Oh, they got the dirt bikes in there. Oh. Maybe we're going to be doing wheelies in the parking lot here later.
Okay.
Even if you use a nose weight, you make the back of the nose weight rough,
Can I?
like that.
I
Make
can
it with a
do-
Dremel tool.
I do have a Dremel right now.
You got a battery one?
Yeah.
Make it like this. Just
Okay.
make a sun.
So can I skip this one?
Yeah, oh yeah, get rid
Yeah.
of this. Yeah. But then you got to open this hole up. See, here's the problem. You got to make this hole for this nut.
Oh, you. Really?
Because otherwise this is too small. This is only going to touch on that little tiny area. It's going to be a problem.
So what do you suggest? I don't have tool to open it right.
Let me get you a different nut. I'll get you a better. All right, we try to get Cena squared away so he could fly his new plane, never been flown. That thing with knurling the nuts is very important, especially with modern motors that kick back, and as you saw Rich's kick back before. So where's your plane, Matt? Come on. Where? I don't see any plane. You should be flying. You want to be on the FAI team next year? Go out to the Nats with Wendy? Hey, we could work it out. I could adopt you. You're adoptable. How much money you got?
Not
You're
much.
due to inherit a lot of money when Pops goes to stunt heaven here, or what?
Yeah, they've been here.
Now, who would have thought when I bought the van in 1995 that these seats would be in 2009, be out at the field hanging out here like this? That's incredible. Yeah, they're starting to roll in now. Getting warm, too. Nice.
Is that Jose?
So how's this guy been trimming out, Bride? Pretty good?
Fly's good. I haven't flown it in a couple
You
weeks.
get to use
now.
any of those props I gave you?
No,
Any of them work out?
Actually, believe it or not, I'm back to the same prop I had. I opened up the muffler, but what I really think the whole problem was?
Yeah.
The fuel filter itself, and the little Rojet ones. I
Yeah.
just don't think they flow enough fuel.
It could be.
It would clog up all the time, but it was more than that. It would run lean towards the middle of the flight and that. I put the
Well, it's easy. Just take the filter out
I
once
took
you
it,
get the tank
But
clean.
the bottom line is I went back and forth, different mufflers, everything.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
back
yeah.
to the way I am, and the fuel filter.
Yeah,
Less
you
talking and more working here.
using up all my good air.
Yeah.
Oh, Buddy Weeder could be a national champion today.
Sure. Oh, sure.
I better see that Cobra down at my house, boy. You owe me big time.
Yeah, no doubt about
Boy, there's no argument. Even he doesn't.
it. No arguments there.
And I intend to
You
collect.
know, when you go there, I'll bring my Pontiac.
That'd be cool. Get the Pontiac, the Cobra, and the R1. And all the planes out in front. Oh, that'd be super. Man, you could put a plane in your Pontiac.
Oh, yeah.
You could put two of them in there probably.
In the trunk. Fits.
Oh, man.
I used to go skiing with that car, and I used to put the skis in the trunk. Yeah.
Down at the cruise night, and they had it on Sunday, they had a couple of Cobras. That must be you can't tell if they're, how do you tell if they're kid
Billy's
cars?
here. Motorcycle Billy, hey, good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, the superstars are all here. Hey.
I'm just a stooge.
You're just a stooge?
To the club. Motorcycle Billy. Trouble finding us, right?
Willie took me. I came with Willie.
Oh, okay.
Boy, thank God for Ronson. Soon as the weather gets below freezing, Ronson
The
Zula.
thing is, it started first thing, and I had 3 flights on it without an issue, and now it's sat. And we're back to the
Well, maybe it thinks it's a contest start.
Yeah, it probably does.
So we had spent some time with Brian trying to get the tank shimmed on this. I'm not sure we put any of that footage on a tape. Because one day was just basically flying it and looking at the tank shim. I had given him some props that I thought would be worth testing, but it looks like he's got one. And actually, when the weather gets cool here, prop is not critical at all. Basically, because the plane's got an engine that's bigger than it needs to be. This is a plane that originally designed for a 45, and it's got a Tiger 60 in it, so it's relatively overpowered anyway. Relative to Lou McFarlane's original Shark anyway, which it's based on. Nice motor run there, but we'll see. Yeah, that's real nice, in fact. Air is still stone dead because it's real early. And we're itching to get started on a big job, but we just had so many things. Karen's medical issues basically wiped out a week. And we had some projects with the motorcycle we were finishing up. Wanted to get that done and tested. We had the Brookins seat. Elaine did a great job on making us a custom seat. The cover, the pad. It's been a pretty exciting year. Got to go to some car races with Billy and Melinda. What my plan is one day this week, I'm going to try to link up with Billy. We want to try to camera plane out. I got it with me, in fact. Maybe when the contest is over, I could get a flight on it. We'll see. But I don't want to hold up the contest because we're just experimenting. Looks like he's got it pretty close right now. Got two things we're hoping are going to happen today. Number one, our friend from Spain, if he does get here, Karen speaks Spanish, of course. A lot of people don't realize Karen actually speaks 4 languages. She was a linguist in college. And other people speak Spanish here. That's not a problem. But we had given him directions and told him how to get here. I'm not sure he's going to make it. And I have a guy that I've actually never met yet that I've been corresponding with. We have a mutual friend in Florida, and he has an R1 that he wants me to make some custom parts for, an old R1. And I told him, come down and well, check out the action, hang out with us for a little while, and I could measure up the parts I have to make for his bike. Reason is he has to work during the week. It's hard for us. We've been trying to link up during the week, but his job and the hours I keep don't really coincide. So this might be a good time for us to get together. And I'm hoping our train friend Arnie Haber gets here. I've invited him to come hang out with us and try to solve the problems of the world here. And every time I'm at this field, I always have to, in my mind, thank Rich Jacobone for all the work he did to get us this field. And over the years, we have burned a lot of fuel at this field. Billy's on a back circle flying to Jose Modesto's plane. And the sun is starting to rise. It's starting to actually get a little warmer here. You may see some people take their coats off pretty soon. And we had, in the course of this year, we had several great air shows, some really fun cruise nights and some cruise days. Good time spending a lot of time with Rob riding his motorcycle. A lot of time up at Billy and Melinda's up by the lake house where they live. A lot of things to be thankful for.
Maybe I'll take one more.
I come back up and you're well awake to get into the
Doesn't matter.
Hey, how you doing? You got out here? Yeah, I got here. Hi, how are you? Recognize you. I did. He's a young guy. I recognize you guys. Mustangs. Sharks. Those other ones. That's populated inside. Comes out.
We'll see the hat in a little while.
Well, usually I see him. It's like videotape.
He has hair under that hat. Can you imagine?
You know?
Did I hear you talking disrespectfully about me?
It wasn't me. It's the lady in charge.
Are they making fun of me without me even being there? Can you imagine? Hey, Rude.
Yeah, we'll keep it here.
That's a nice first aid kit.
Oh, yeah.
In case one of these electric guys can't get his motor started.
Or it starts in
starts in his car or something.
At least we have it. You know, so I was flying RC and helping a guy out with electric, and it's different procedures when you're used to gas. So I go, oh, let's trim the box. Can I have a buddy box with it?
Right.
I turn it on, and lo and behold,
The motor goes on?
and it cuts my shoes. Brand new
Oh!
shoes. And I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
And you're not used to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I heard one guy started on his bench. Somebody hit the switch. It went across and broke his television.
The rule
Went right into his flat screen TV.
The rule of thumb now is take the prop off any main.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. You can't get hurt if the prop isn't on. Yeah. Good
I mean,
idea.
the motor will go screaming, but you'll save.
Yeah. Who cares
yourself.
about the motor?
Exactly. Because if you read the safety magazines, you hear.
Yeah, like you say, it's something new you got to get used to.
Yeah.
Any new procedure where you can drop the ball.
Well, when you hear these guys turn on this motor itself, you know, it goes. Dee-dee-dee-dee.
Yeah, it makes a little squeak. Yeah, like a mouse is in there or something.
And you know, okay, it's armed, and then you wait a second, and then you know the throttle has to go up or down, or something like that. You know.
Yeah. Well, what'd be fun is carry a timer around with you when they're around in your pocket and turn it on so it goes. Everybody runs to their plane and see what's.
An hour after I take that.
And it's funny because there's
Mean people we are.
doing, RC and electric.
Oh yeah.
That you hear these different timers going. You're like somebody's timer's going off. Usually it was 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah.
Now it's 50 guys.
Yeah.
My good car souls.
Hey, how are you? So is this the new one, Bob?
Yeah. Hey, Billy. I just want to burp it. Yeah, I can't get through a sun pattern yet, so
Well, it's new, right?
yeah.
You didn't trim it out yet?
7.5 ounce tank in it, like Randy suggests.
What, the tank isn't big enough? Is that the problem?
Well, I just shortened the pipe. Does it give me more time?
No, that'll make it worse.
Oh.
Make it longer, it'll get better.
Over your
Nice paint. Nice original color too, not something you see everywhere.
Yeah, I had the guys in the body shop mix it.
Yeah, that's nice. That'll show up good in the air too.
But you know what? I saw a...
What, you drip fuel on it?
I got a bike that color. Neil got I had a folding bike. I sold it to Neil.
Yeah.
It was this color, so I took the bike around it and they were...
And said match the paint. Yeah, that's cool.
They did pretty good.
Yeah, that is nice. I think it's going to show up great in the air. We're going to try to make your contest next week, but make sure you have a first aid kit there. And make sure somebody knows how to get to the hospital immediately if we have a problem with Karen. Because she's still under my supreme care.
You know what? I mean, just...
When he cut his finger, I didn't know where the hospital was. I knew it was down that way, but we had to have the cop show us where it was. I know where it is here, but I don't know where it is in Flushing, No, that's Lampione's. It's nice, huh? Nice color. Something original at least for a change,
Yeah.
Everybody's had trouble starting this morning. It's really the first cold day, so everybody's got their cold starting juice and everything.
At least it's no warm.
Oh, yeah. If anything, it's too dead.
Yeah.
That'll be the problem.
Usually about 10 o'clock.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, it'll be nice. Hey, they got a good turnout too.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Nice PT Cruiser back window. What's happening, Sleep?
Hey, Wendy. How are you?
Good. See, this is a problem we have when we have this same problem all the time. Be careful before you start. They're going to drive these bikes right out in the middle of the circle.
Yeah.
Now you see there's cones and barrels, doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
They're just going to drive away.
Oh.
Watch how this goes, watch. And they might speak English, but
Please don't come out on the circle. Yeah, it's supposed to stay on
Cardinals, Cardinals. Noble doolies. Oh, now we're cooking with gas. Neil's got the vice lock.
So,
where's the jet? They're having scale today, Jet Boy.
the jet's here.
Jet Boy.
Line broke.
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. I should sell him my Typhoon.
I should sell him my Strager.
Yeah. What do you got to entertain us today? I'm expecting big things from you today.
Hopefully the MIG works.
Got the MIG working?
Yeah. Watch the bird.
Goose, 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 goose. Lampion's never hit a goose. That's exciting. Boy, especially for the goose.
You talk about cooking your goose.
Cooking your goose. Hey, that guy that hit in the Hudson, I bet he was cooking his goose.
He cooked a lot of
He cooked about 200 of them. We've had it here at the field, Dan, where about 100 of them fly over at once. So whoever's flying, it's very intimidating.
Oh,
Goose overhead.
Yeah. I got a
M2A1 box.
So Bob Lampione has decided to fly his old plane. He's not ready with this, not trimmed yet, but we'll see it next week out at Flushing, probably in the meantime. Because he'll get to fly it during the week. He might have it ready. We'll get to see it fly. Very, very pretty. Very nice. Hey, the whole Pennsylvania contingency is here.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
Hey, we should have this contest in Pennsylvania.
A good day to fly today because it was kind of windy. I said, no, we flew this morning. Oh, really? I went by the club field and there was nobody there.
Well, the club field in here is totally different, not even close to the same.
I said, but, you know.
Well, a bunch of the Philly guys have came. Now, we were going to take the camera plane out, but it looks like, well, Danny's practicing and some of the guys that want to compete today. So what I think I'll do is wait to the end of the day, and if we still have time, I got the camera with me, I got all the stuff with me. We'll see how the day plays out. And you can see where the little breeze that's come up, just a hair of breeze, it's right into the sun. And if you've never had the joy of looking right, I know when Warren Walker was here, boy, the joy of flying into the sun at this field is pretty cool. Anyway, we'll just play it by ear, see how this day is going to play out. It certainly looks like my prediction of a great weather day. It looks like we have really stolen one. And we'll see how the day comes later on.
Something for her, you know. She's 88 years old, you know, and I can't back on it. No.
Send everybody an email. He doesn't
Everybody
read his
said they're
goddamn
off.
email.
They got to work on Saturday. So I said, you know what?
When he sent it to you, he sent
Okay, let me talk for a bit, and you guys, here's what we're gonna do.
I don't know, at least next week.
I want to thank everybody for coming. John Brodhead's going to come by about 10 o'clock. You know, he doesn't know there's two 9 o'clocks. You know, he thinks just the one. So, and that's when happy hour is, you know. So, he's coming by. We're going to fly fun scale here. Unless, and scale, if you got going to taxi with a scale airplane, we're going to fly it on the front circle, the expert circle, because it's dry. Okay? We're going to fly expert up there, where we usually do, and Mike, Stella, raise your hand, and the other one, the old critter, Mr. Older Than Dirt, raise your hand. And we're going to fly advanced on the back circle. Okay, I'm going to have Mike Cooper going to judge your band for me. Or do you want to judge intermediate? Your call. All right. Then Brian wins the advanced call. And Rich Jacobone is going to judge with him.
Why don't you just do advanced and intermediate in one circle? Save yourself a lot of aggravation.
Because we get a lot of them.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're going to fly intermediate first here, then fun scale. We'll fly expert there, and then any scale that needs flown. Pete Hermans is going to judge scale, sport, and profile. And maybe I'll press him into. Does he look like a fun scale guy too? Hey!
Boo!
How can you go
Boo!
wrong? And John Brodak is coming down, and he's going to judge sport and for profile and fun scale. Roy is going to help. What are you going to fly? You're going to fly profile, right? Okay. So Roy's going to help with fun scales. Okay. So that should be, those are the judges we're going to fly. Oh, I need an intermediate judge. Sabatino is the other intermediate judge.
I don't know if I'm going to be here all day, Rick.
Well, he doesn't know if he's going to be here all day, so fly quickly or crash. Okay, blame him.
Thank you for judging, for volunteering.
Bobby's contest that was last
We'll do it first.
2 weeks ago.
It's going to be over with in a week.
Right away.
Is next weekend, next Sunday.
Next Sunday. It originally gone out Saturday, but too many people are working on Saturday, so we're going to do it on Sunday the 18th.
Next Sunday.
I hope you all come.
Next Sunday? You better pray a little bit. You know, you're getting whacked with these weather things, man.
I don't praise as much as me.
You be on your knees.
Bobby's going to do that, and then the other thing, we got a swap meet over on Long Island. On the 15th.
Long Island.
Swap meet and forum is the 22nd of November at the Wayne
He had the
Fire
compressor and
Hall,
everything.
not the PAL Hall. The Fire Hall is about as far as from here to that hut over there. And I guarantee you these control line guys won't mind. But you can see it from one parking lot to the next.
Let them little kids.
That's close. We're going to try to put signs.
If you have an, yeah, you need to
Okay,
hold it.
we're over here.
$10 a kid.
Yeah, Fire Hall, right. You'll get a postcard in one parish drive.
Yeah, but you're on the road.
Okay? We're going to get the flight order posted. I'm going to post it here and get a score sheet to each circle. So until we get that done, we can have practice flying. If somebody needs a practice flight, go ahead, because it'll take us 10 minutes or 15. Questions?
Throttle and scale and profile.
No.
What?
We're going to fly fun scale, right?
Yeah, fun or I heard profile.
Well, you know.
Whatever you want to do.
Jet scale. Jet scale.
It was under.
We got a 90 to pay.
Jet scale. So let me tell you, bring your beautiful wife to New Jersey from, where do you, you've emailed me before, from Spain, right?
Right.
Okay, from Spain, and here to do business or vacation?
Vacation.
Vacation, okay. And how long here?
Manhattan.
No, but how long? A week, 2 days?
7 days.
7 days. So you will be here next week?
Yes.
Okay, and do you have to do business or just fun? You speak better English than Javier, right?
A little. We speak English.
My wife speaks a little Spanish.
Yes?
Okay, but she's not here.
Uh-huh.
She was going to be here. She came this morning, but she's been in the hospital all week, and she didn't feel good, so she went back home. But somebody, I will find somebody that speaks Spanish.
Speak Spanish, nobody.
Oh, wait, I'm going to find.
Mode.
Sí.
Stun.
Oh, bueno. Bueno.
In Madrid.
Madrid.
Madrid, Spain.
Where you live, Madrid?
Yes.
My wife's been to Madrid. She's been to Spain twice.
How many
Capital
days
Spain.
are you going
Yeah,
to be here?
she loves Spain. She went to the bullfights with her cousins.
Oh, good. Good.
Manhattan.
Manhattan. Good. You take a
My plane
taxi?
actual, Cardinal Broda,
Brodak Cardinal. Okay.
14 engine.
Okay.
Broda.
You enjoy your stay.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Now, where are you going to go in Manhattan? Where did you go to Ground Zero? Empire State Building,
Yes.
Statue of Liberty, Wendy's shop. All of these things are the main thing. Wendy's shop is number one.
To view, to video, en CD.
Yeah.
Yo view a ti, no, decirle que le hemos visto, que vemos sus vídeos.
I looking for your video in the state, Liberty State. In the video with your family. ¿Dónde estaba? ¿Tú lo compraste?
Sí, yo le he pedido a él varios vídeos.
You want some Wendy videos? I got
Wendy
some in a
videos.
car. I'll go get them right now.
Oh,
I'm going to take pictures with my still camera, and your wife could take some too.
very beautiful model.
Yeah, of course. It's Wendy's. He's brainwashed.
Very light.
Yeah, it's got a camera on it. That has a camera. Let me show you how this works. This is a video camera. You know how that works?
Sí, yes.
This fits over here. And we take pictures flying.
Para grabar el vuelo.
Not during a contest. They're having a contest today, but
Para grabar el vuelo. Oh, fantastic.
very, very special model. John Brodak is here. Would you like to meet John Brodak and his wife? You know, he's a very famous person.
Que es una persona famosa, pero no sé.
That's got a 90. The motor is a 90. You have any 90s in Spain?
90?
90.
I
Not
don't
a.
understand you. 19?
The size of the motor is a 90, a bigger motor than most planes that size have.
No sé a qué se refiere del modelo. Es very. No sé.
Suave. Very.
You have pictures of your model? Did you bring pic? Could you send me on the internet?
I don't know.
You got take a picture with the thing in Spain, and then send it to my email. You have my email because I get emails from you all the time.
Ya, dirección en Spain.
Right, when they have a contest or your friends, especially when many modelers together have a contest.
Oh,
Que le apuntemos.
sí.
And you send me your address, and I'll send you this video with your wife and you and the plane on it.
Que el vídeo luego lo manda por email.
Okay.
Like I sent you stuff in Spain already. You get it with no problem, right?
Okay.
No problem. No money, no problem.
hemos venido de vacaciones. A pasar una semana. Holidays, una semana.
Unos amigos que están en Manhattan, nosotros yendo.
Karen was here, but she went home.
Hoy aquí
Un concurso. Yo
hemos venido nosotros dos.
escribí a Wendy y a Enrique un email.
Sí, un email.
Y me dijeron que había hoy un concurso. Entonces yo vuelo también en España, estuve a Croacia.
Oh, muy bien.
Y quería conocer a Wendy.
Now, during the week, in the week, is every day is, explain this. They're going to be here till next Saturday. They fly back to Spain on Sunday.
Ustedes estamos aquí hasta sábado, domingo. Only until Saturday.
Okay, ask him if one night.
They understand English.
No, they don't. They need you. One night they would like to come. His wife and him would come to my house and have dinner with Wendy, and then I could take him back to the city.
Maybe you need to pick them up. Quieren comer de una noche durante la semana.
Maybe we could all get together by Franco's even.
Yes. Sí.
Sí, ¿por qué no?
One evening. Because you could talk to Karen on the phone. Wait, I gotta get. You know what? I got an idea. John, you got a minute? My friend from Spain, Javiar, and his wife.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
Hi. They're gonna be here for a week, so we're gonna have dinner with them Tuesday. But you're already gonna be back home, right?
Yeah.
You're going back? Okay.
I'm staying tonight, then I'm going back.
Okay. Okay.
But it's nice to see you guys out. Are they subscribers to our magazine?
I said, yeah, no. I want to get some pictures for the magazine.
Okay.
Have them stand behind your model with you, and let me take a picture with the camera.
Okay.
So not with the video, with the regular camera. Let me get the camera. I'll do for Control Line World. Put a whole bunch of stores there. She's working. I brought her up this morning to work today. Yeah, it's good. I hope she can take the day off. You got the plane, John? Yeah, right there's good. That's good. Let me get a couple. Buzz. Stay the way you are. I'll make you famous, John. Okay, at least one of them will come out. Well, that's nice. I didn't even get a chance to look at that yet.
That's what they're crystal clear.
That's nice. Your flight is yet?
Yeah, I can
Flight's
go
good?
down a few. Yeah.
Well, I'll get the whole flight. I'm going to be here for the duration.
Yeah, see, I have.
Nice.
See how it closes off on the outside? You see it? I take that out when I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see back here, the wheel hole, I adjust my tool wheel.
Yeah.
I got your wheel thing, so take it.
You're learning a lot. That's nice. Man.
My exhaust comes out the exhaust pipe.
Yeah.
You give me the other ones without fluid. Oh, right. So you don't see no holes.
Now, is this fabric?
Yeah.
Pat Johnson designed this?
Yeah.
It's a Pat Johnson. Oh, that's nice.
I painted it. I tried detailing it. I didn't do it.
Yeah, Richard's one, they all start coming. Nice. How many other models are there here? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, like what are those? 4 up there? They got a nice scale entry here.
So the plan is we're going to try to have dinner with friends from Spain this week. Trying to set it up for Tuesday night with Rich and Susan. Get them to visit the shop, see the train layout, whatever.
Jose, the control.
Control line.
Is the radio control? Control line. Do you? Gracias.
Sí, I do it. Keep cardinal product.
Cardinal.
Product 40 engine.
Okay. In Madrid.
Okay.
Yeah, come to our contest. Products. We have a contest in our little town.
Ah, ok, que si vamos a concurso en Broda.
Yeah. So come.
It's a
He may
You better than I do.
He may win the raffle this week at Wendy's. You know what the prize is? A set of free Brodak videos. There's only one ticket. I got a good chance he might win. little bit of a breeze kicking up here now. Just a little bit.
She's over there. Look.
Getting something that has less maintenance. Except the plug rate.
Oh, shoot. I don't have... Is Sleepy turning into a pain in the ass here or what?
His four-stroke is not. It's no more. It's not timed quite right or something.
Well, I think the cam is grinding up. Because
Yeah.
I backed off the two adjustments to let the valves float good,
Yeah.
and nothing. I mean, it's.
Stevie, what happened? I don't know.
That's why I'm saying something I believe is wrong in this gearing arrangement.
It's rubbing on the spinner back plate is what it's doing.
No. It's not rubbing on the spinner back.
Feels like, or it's something internal, feels like a rub. You know how?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you hear it run before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, case closed. You don't have to be an engine expert to know that.
I had a '54 Ford that sounded like that.
Yeah, it's dragging something. I don't know.
I crashed a motorcycle one time and it sounded like that when I started it up.
Right.
Oh man, I don't like the sound of that.
I'm sending it back.
You know, I bolted on there.
I
Put
got
a 6.
LA 40.
Put
I gave
No, not a 40, a 46.
46.
46.
Ken?
Okay.
Tell him. Ken, tell him.
Well, see, I might be the wrong person. I mean, I'm flying the 40 myself, but I have a rare breed because it's working.
But this is a good.
Little by little, the wind's starting to get a little breezy. Not terrible, but certainly was dead calm this morning. They were backing up as we work our way up into the middle of the expert rounds. Good to see we've made some new friends from Madrid, Spain. Now, Karen has already been to Madrid, or needless to say, I haven't. I'm lucky I get to go to Brodex every year. But we're going to try to set up a dinner, a Fachua dinner for Tuesday night. Get to show them the shop. It'll be a lot of fun. And boy, there's not a single person complaining about the weather though. All right, Matt, make me famous. Matt's been shooting some video for me. We, of course, always appreciate sharing the world. They come from Vermont. It's about a 7-hour ride each way for them, for Don and his grandson. And unfortunately, because of Matt's school schedule in Vermont, they don't get to come to Brodax every year. But I have a feeling that well, sooner or later they're going to be able to make it. This is Don Herdman flying the P-40. And when you look, you probably don't really see it in this video, but this P-40 is really a nice ship. He had this at Brodax a couple of years ago, and we were trying to get some motor run issues ironed out. I don't remember exactly what it was, but Don, of course, and his grandson will make a great flying team. We always enjoy sharing some time at the field with them. And Matt, of course, an up-and-comer. He's certainly way ahead of me when I was his age. A really nicely behaved young man. Now, where did Brian go? Brian was just in this picture. I guess he moved. What's up, baby?
Harbor Freight. It's got this little ramp that you ride the motorcycle on, and you can push them sideways.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I was thinking about you when I saw it.
Yeah. I bought a jack to jack the whole bike off the ground. A come-along kind of thing. You pick the whole bike off the ground, you can spin the wheels. Very cool. I just did the 4,000 mile maintenance on it. I'm dying to go ride it
I was
again.
up there, I bought one of those metal detectors.
Yeah.
It was like $40. I was losing arrows shooting in the woods.
You can order all the wine you want.
I'm going to order steak and surf.
Yeah, you can order anything you want. You're worth it. Where did he go?
Surf and turf.
When I'm paying a bill, you can order anything you want. Look, you knocked my camera off the tripod, you bum. I'll tell you, with friends like Rich and Brian, knocks my camera off the tripod. What a guy. Oh man, I'm telling you. I wonder how I've survived all the years without killing him. All right, Don Herdman, this is his first official. Looks like we got about a 5-mile-an-hour breeze blowing. Certainly the air is warming up. We're probably up around 60 right now. This time of year, the air is always variable. And here's another thing: if you've never painted a shark mouth on a plane, it looks real easy. You look at a picture, you go make your stencils, but believe me, a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Now, the other guy, of course, doesn't fly stunt anymore, but I think he still lives in Florida, is Billy Simons. He had a P-40 years ago, and he painted on that shark mouth. It looked so realistic, it was unbelievable. Chiang Kai-shek would have been impressed. And boy, young guys like Matt, they are the future of the event. Oh, speaking of it, look at Mr. Ego. What a shitty launch, man. If I was Grandpa, I would have hopped in the ass for that launch. Terrible. Wait till you see it on video. What were you thinking?
Nothing.
You could have cost Gramps the national championships here. How was the ride down here? Good?
Good.
You gotta start shooting some more video for me, you know? Hey, I'm paying you all big money. You wanna be rich like me someday? You gotta wear out a tripod, baby.
I gave him a load of pressure. I told him you were filming it.
Get some nice pictures for Control Line World, too. See, when you're in your home environment, you can pose a picture a lot easier than here at the field.
Yeah.
Get a light colored background, get the sun at your back, line up all your planes, you know, in the backyard or whatever. Look nice. How cold is it up by you? The trees are already churning up there.
It's by us.
You already got leaf peeping season going on?
Yeah.
People in other parts of the country don't know what leaf peeping season is. It's when the leaves turn yellow and orange and red and everything gets beautiful. They're just starting here. It's not.
We're at the peak of the season. By
Yeah, Midgley said they're like beautiful up by him right now.
and we had a nice ride down with that. The scenery.
Yeah, I'll bet. You should shoot pictures when you're riding down. See, what you do is you get one of my videos and you just imitate it. You don't have to say anything intelligent, just keep the word going. You see something cute, take a picture of it.
Yeah, it's really going down the tubes now.
It's getting a little breezier now. It was nicer for the first 10 guys. We were out there with our friends from Spain, so I didn't get to see the first couple of guys fly. I was hoping Joe Adamusco would be here today with the big spit, but didn't work out for him. Nah, it didn't work out. This still flies pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's 6 or 7 years old.
I remember when he first brought it out to Brodax.
Yeah.
And he was having either a, I don't remember what, a needle valve problem or something we worked on.
I remember that problem.
You remember that?
The motor kept on getting leaner and looking
Right, right. It got leaner toward the end of the flight.
He worked with you.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, as long as you get it fixed, doesn't matter who fixes it. Just get it fixed so you can enjoy the bottle.
He's been complaining that this plane pulls so much.
Oh, buy him a set of weights. Buy him a set of 10-pound weights and tell him start working out.
He's got a Bowflex.
Bowflex is nice. I wish I had the money for one. I took all of my weights and I got them all duct taped together now because after riding the R1, I'm up to like 30 pounds. I sit and watch TV and do my arm workouts. Well, just buff out a plane. That's just as good.
I've been watching your Rodak dope tape.
No, they're going into Newark. Look how low they come. They're right over our field, though. It's scary how low they come. They're new patterns where they go into Newark here. They're right over us. Judges today, Mike Costello and John DeTavio. Okay, John's flying the electric right now. Not much excitement waiting for the motor to start. You can see the flag in the background. The wind is just about now getting to be interesting. But we've already had a few hours of good flying.
You guys ready? Go ahead.
The wind is actually changing a little bit now too. So I can move just a little bit here. Now what's very funny about the electrics to me, the one Jose has is a lot of prop noise. Jack Weston and John's, they're kind of on the quiet side, which of course is one of the nice features of electric. Mikey Palco's is somewhere in between. And whether you like them or love them, they're here to stay. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about it. Now we're coming up on a lunch break pretty soon, and Karen has graciously made us, for Buzz and John and for our friends from Spain, a whole cooler full of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It was interesting to see at Brodax this year the progress the Adamisons have made with their electric stuff. Really working well. Pylon racers already have their own class, and of course in RC they're everywhere.
Yes, the good news here is you never have to worry. It's going to run overtime, of course. Another benefit to electrics. And there it goes, spooling down. You don't have to do that annoying loop at the end of the flight. Jack Weston, another electric flyer, giving him a hand. Those hard startups and launches, you got to know how to pull a pin on these. Buddy, are you up now?
No.
Who's up?
Mike.
Oh, Mike, okay. My eyes are so bad I can't tell who's flying. All these old guys look alike to me. There we go. Come on, Mikey. There we go. Mike Cooper, first official. Buddy Weeder, the launch man.
Why the wind always has to be in the sun?
Yeah. Because you don't go to church enough.
Is that what it is?
If you would start going to church regularly,
yeah,
we would have better air.
I'll remember that.
So Jose's in the Dominican Republic now? That's why you didn't show?
Went away for the weekend, I guess.
Good man. You got a good telephoto on that?
Oh yeah, 400.
Oh, beautiful. I wish I had the money for that.
Only $200, Wendy.
Really?
Yep.
I thought they were like $1,000 or something. Shows you what a genius I am. Now, if you look at that, the flag is blowing one way, but the air coming over the field because of that trailer truck is a little bit different. Whoa! Whoa, Mikey, Mikey, easy, baby. As I say, it might get hit with some really crazy air. All right, wave off. Here's the problem, when the air moves, it comes over that truck, comes through here, it really gets crazy. And if you look here, now it's going back to the way it was, but it was blowing completely the other way about, well, when Mike got hit. Now it's gotten nicer. Yeah, it's going back and forth.
Clear on top of that. With the stuff, you add like an activator to it, but there's no odor.
Yeah, but is it fuel proof?
Yeah, when you add this cross linker to it, it becomes fuel proof.
You have to wear a respirator.
Well, any spraying, you want to wear a respirator to keep the particles out, but there's no smell. The cosmic wind isn't sprayed, it's brushed. Brushed with a foam brush. And then, like an idiot, I did it outside in the cold, just from habit. If I did it in the house, the paint would have flowed and I wouldn't have had the wet sand it.
Can you do that? You know, I'm like water-based paint.
I won't be in a position to come up with Frank.
Tuesday night would be fine. Just talk to Karen. It doesn't matter to me either way. Food is food. What? They have pizza? I'm in.
If you got an issue with
Yeah,
smell,
no,
that's
but
something to consider.
Yeah, it's a pleasant atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. You guys up next, John?
I don't know.
What's the order?
I don't think Skip started on yet.
You don't know the order either?
I'll check with people.
Not like when I run the contest. We have strict rules under Artnowski's Hitler regime.
It has to be that way, but always.
Yeah. I don't do this for fun. I'm doing this to make a living. What a joke.
Ready? It's a circle, huh?
Well, this guy, no, that flies well.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I love biplanes.
Yeah.
Well, I love to have a real stunt biplane. Well, Harold Price was working on one when he died.
Yeah.
You know, with two like nobler wings with flaps and everything. Look at these bums sitting on my Windstar seats. Here's my Windstar. There's my seats that have never been in a car. What's wrong with this picture? And nobody even stole them. John put a rope on them. Nobody even stole them. What does that tell you about their value?
Tank was in the wrong position.
Oh, okay. But you had it pretty reliable the last couple of times. It was dead reliable.
And now since it's all reliable and everything, and I found a source for reed valves for it, I got 20 reeds now.
Oh, yeah, home for you all.
And now they changed the fuel.
Ah!
The propylene oxide, we ain't gonna be able to get it or something. So the fuel's a nitro, 20 nitro and 80%.
Will that run on nitro fuel, ordinary?
I hope so.
I mean, it won't blow up or anything.
Oh, no. No, well, it is blowing up constantly.
2,000 times a minute. No, but what I'm saying, when you fly that, even at Brodex, that's the show. No. And I remember when the first year I had the B-25 and flew it, and somebody got a picture downwind. You're in the picture, in fact. Taffinder's doing the time, and Will Huben's shooting a picture, and there's all these people in the back. It is the plane just sitting in the grass. I said, now that's it, man. Where do you go from here?
That's the show.
The last 2 years, you had good flights on it.
Oh, yeah. I got every one on video. I could go back and make a half hour of jet footage.
What I'm worried is what it might be if everything mechanical is fine, then what I'm worried is enough prop leached out of this fuel where it's not working. This is my last.
The igniter.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if you could put lighter fluid in the fuel. That's what we do with you do it too with the glow engines.
I don't.
I mean, you do a test on a bench. I wouldn't have it in a model.
Well, what I'm gonna do after I can take the nose off of that and test run this new fuel because I think I got to open up the jets even further. My metering jets and everything in there. I got to open them up more.
But you got to admit that is cool. That makes it worth a ride down here.
I hope we can. Well, you know what I'm thinking.
Especially in a world going electric. We're not going in that direction,
We're
are
going
we?
the anti-electric.
Anti-electric.
You know what's going through my mind every time at the handle out there? God, I hope this thing works.
What I always, now just think, you're the last one I know flying one. When you either wear it out or burn it up,
Well,
it's gonna be a memory, man. It's gonna be gone.
The next thing will be I was talking to a guy that sent the reeds, and he used to work for the Dynajet company, and he had a Dynajet stunner.
I know who it is. Yeah, he flew at Willow Grove.
Jerry Wiles is
He
his
flew
name.
it at Willow Grove. He did loops and like just before dark. You could see. I could picture it in my mind. I was like 10 years old or something when he did that.
I wonder if this is the same guy.
Oh, they couldn't have been. There's one band jock. Like,
Well, I don't know.
what, do you think you have a twin brother somewhere?
There's been a couple in old magazines, Dynajet stunners and stuff.
Oh, I would kill for that.
But the one thing I got to get from another guy is called a Klein fuel pressure regulator.
Do the speed guys use them? Or?
I think the RC helicopter guys do. This
Oh,
guy that I
okay.
called knows the guy. Because the other guy, some guy up in Oregon, flies RC jets, pulse jets, and does aerobatics.
Oh, so he must know everything. Yeah.
He's got a bladder tank,
Yeah.
kind of bladder tank feeding the pressure regulator.
I'd be willing to bet Paul Walker knows too. He had pressure regulators on his B-17.
Oh, maybe they're
I mean,
the
he's a
same
guy, and he's always good with sharing information.
Okay, maybe it's just, well, the only thing I was worried about was the pressure. How do you shut the fuel off if something breaks in the engine? Because when the reed breaks,
Yeah, the fuel keeps going. Now the problem is it's red hot.
that's when we had the fire issues.
Yeah.
Now what the guy said was, he said that was an on-demand regulator. So even though we got the whole bladder pressure, whatever, feeding it, it's still got, if it's not running, it won't feed fuel.
Well, that would be scary. That you'd be looking at 4 ounces of gasoline
Oh yeah, it'd be running regular gas.
going into a red hot tube. Bad things could happen here.
Well, you've seen when this
Oh
catch
yeah, I
fires,
seen
it's
it catch fire.
Right.
Midgley was toasting hot dogs back there.
That is the funniest thing.
It
when
was.
he was getting shocked off the button. And he's like, I'm getting shocked.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's no power through the button. I'm getting shocked. Wendy's
I
like,
got that on
"Quit being-"
video.
Yeah.
Don't be a baby, just launch it.
You know what? He was right. One of my wires had grounded out to the switch.
So it's the worst in the world. Nobody believes you're getting a shock, and then the whole world thinks you're fake.
We got it apart, and I'm like, oh shit, he was right.
Oh man, that's funny. I remember that. And it was Midgley was not even expecting that.
That was priceless.
Oh.
Who would start pushing the button? Sean Cook. Where is it? Ken's son Sean, because he started up at Reading. He hit the button, and it's boom, and he jumped. It was great. That scared the crap out of me. Fine, get back down here.
Have you ever been looking on an old 55 Chevy and grabbed the spark plug wire? That's a thrill of being 17.
The dumbest thing I've ever done was, I think, with that MiG. Years ago, we tried getting the pulse jet running, but we weren't successful. But we had the box built. So the box got the batteries in it and everything, and I get the thing out, blow the dust off of it, set up, connect everything, and I grabbed the leads. I'm like, these batteries have got to be dead. Do you know they weren't dead? They were rather energetic.
Yeah. When I had the coil for my, I had a Dynajet, and I was just running it on the bench and playing with it, and I didn't realize how powerful that spark was. I had the Model A coil, and I was thinking, these babies, they can't. I work on cars. I'm a talker. Yo!
Exactly.
Boy, they will light you up.
Oh man, that's like being, don't tase me, bro. Don't spark me, bro.
You were flying.
Before I was born.
Now, let me tell you the story. This plane is still around. Carlos Serra has it. He was playing with 4 strokes in it. We used it to make several motor tests. It's still around. It still flies good. That plane was called the Tweener. Big Jim called that the Tweener. I don't remember if that was a front row plane. I think that was the year Lampione won the concourse. But Lampione would remember those kind of things. That's nice.
I saw this picture and it caught my eye.
Yes.
This plane catches my eye.
Oh yeah, catches your eye. It was a beautiful plane.
Actually likes the colors, the way you did it.
That bird head was hand painted on.
You did the reverse on the stab between the...
Yeah, everything reverses. The stripes all reverse. Well, I mean, it's not. I'm trying to think of his name. Doug Moon. He copies that. Not copy. It's a similar paint job. I always liked the way it looked with the tail a different color.
It's got a big step. Definitely you started with the big step.
Yeah, yeah. Big Jim used to call that the dustpan stab. It's good for picking up junk on the shop floor.
All right, the school has a after-school.
What town in Vermont is that? You're in northern Vermont?
Swanton, yes.
Okay, because we go to Arlington. That's south. It's almost on the New York border.
It's near Canada.
Okay.
And now the school gave us an after school, an aviation club. And one of my teachers was yelling at me to join since she knows.
She knows you're a cool guy, huh?
Yeah.
And you have no ego problems yet.
I joined, and the first day, the guy comes in, he goes, well, let me see how the weather is. He comes out, goes back, comes out with a plane, and he goes, who wants to fly first? I'll fly first. And he showed me how to start the engine. We taxied around.
Okay.
And I took off, he operated the throttle. We flew around for about 10 minutes and then he landed.
Very cool. Are you like the king of Swanson, Vermont?
Probably.
You're a big fish in a little pond?
You're going to be battling again, man.
Yeah.
You guys duking it out today? Well, my money's on Matt. I'm going with youth and money, not old age and sympathy votes. Now we got a little time on the end of this video, and I wanted to, well, actually, share some of the memories from years ago. Every time I look back at these old videos, I just think, oh my God, it's hard to believe I lived this life and that it's all behind us now. But what's really nice is the videos always allow us to share some of these great memories. Now before we go any further, I'd like to welcome, as I do each year, all the new people that subscribe. Usually new subscribers will start with the beginning of a construction set, of which we have several different ones in our video library, and can go back as far as 1990 and make copies of planes that we've built every step of the way, little things that we've invented along the way. Some of them that you may find useful to include in your modeling. Some of them are just fun to watch other people suffer. And a lot of times that's what we do. Not everything that you do works out exactly the way you want it to. Subscribing for the first time, I really want to make you aware of some of the possibilities. Some of the things that we do on a regular basis here. We've been running subscriber videos since 1990. They've proved to be very successful over the past 12 years. And we're going to try to continue each year with something new, something that we haven't done in the past. We try not to repeat the same thing over and over again. We try to So there's always something new, always something different. Now, our last year's subscriber video set covered a plane that we had envisioned many years and finally got to build, got to fly at the Nats, got to fly with a 4-stroke Sato 91, and got to fly with throttle control. Now that was really, we used it as a development tool, and over the past year I've been developing the Zetron throttle control. There are videos available for anybody who would like to save a lot of heartbreak and grief and include that in. Actually, it's something you can include on any plane. Before that, we built a model of Gary Levitz's Miss Ashley. Both of those planes featured a lot of unique features, including carbon fiber fuselages, 4-stroke engines, carbon fiber fuel tanks, various things that we thought we'd enjoy developing and now are part of the market that we try to serve with our business. And if you haven't visited our website, it's wendyartnowski.com. It lists pretty much most of the stuff that we do on a regular basis. Does model aviation or participates in modeling for the variety of reasons. Some people enjoy the competitive aspect of it. I myself, while I do like to compete, the thing I find the most exciting and the most challenging is coming up with new and different ways to make model planes and to make them available, make that information and technology available to anybody that would like to use it. Been involved in model aviation over 40 years. The business that I started in 1987 is now going into its 15th year. And I think to a certain degree we've been successful in serving the model airplane community with some integrity, some honesty, and by just the thrust of everything we do is to pass along our love of model aviation. Because we try to do something completely different than we do the year before, of course, the competitive side of what we do has to take a back seat to the development side. So we're always thinking and dreaming of new things, as opposed to somebody that might be more inclined, and I certainly wouldn't put it down, but people that like to build the same plane over and over again and develop it into a competition machine. I'm not that excited about that end of the hobby, but I do like the idea, and I dream about it all the time. I like the idea that every model I make is a unique entity. Each one is something totally different than the one before it. Now, the thing that appeals to me most about the B-25 is, first of all, the most important thing, not many, if any, people have ever made a competitive stunt model of a B-25. So that's one of the attractive features to me, because I really don't enjoy going to the Nats, going to Brodex, going to a contest, and looking out on a field and seeing a whole bunch of planes exactly like mine, maybe with a little bit of different paint job on them or a little bit of different, I don't know, very slight modifications to the wingtips or canopy. I like to have something totally unique and different each year. It's what piques my interest. And that's my own personal thing. It's why I enjoy some of these projects that basically consume hundreds and hundreds of hours of development time. And this one, I'm sure, is going to up the bar in terms of how many hours we'll actually spend working on it. I envisioned the B-25 many, many years ago, and I want to go through a little bit of why and how this developed. Years ago, the thing that I was not happy with, several things, when I envisioned a stunt B-25. The one thing I wasn't happy with is knowing that one engine could shut off at any time. And the worst, I had built a model of a Tiger Cat years ago, and one engine would shut off before the other one would shut off. And no matter how accurate you try to make it, they never would shut off at exactly the same time. And the best system I've seen so far is the one Paul Walker has on his B-17, but that is really complex and really, in my mind, it's a hard act. It's an impossible act to follow. And I'm not going to try to even follow that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make this model with the original thought, and I'll go through this evolutionary process. The original thought was to use 2 4-strokes with throttles. And that's why the first thing we had to do before we could build this model was develop the Zetron throttle control. If we didn't have the ability to use throttle control, and of course we could use it on 2-cycle engines as well as 4-cycles, it just happens that in the last couple of years the 4-cycle engines have seemed to come into their own. We've enjoyed developing them along with the Jet 60s. And obviously what we like to have is some of everything. If you go up to the Spitfire bedroom in my house, you'll notice there are some planes with tuned pipes, some with Tiger 60s, some with 4-strokes. Everything is fun. Everything is doable. Everything is something that I'd like to pursue even further. I don't have any favorite. I like them all. And every part of them, when you go developing something, you can take things that you learn from one and apply it to the other. Now the Z-Tron just happens to be one of those things. If we're not familiar with the Z-Tron, it might be that the first thing you'd want to do is get a copy of that 4-video set, because you'll see what we did in a course of about 18 months with the help of many people, too many to name. Primarily Sergio Zegras, we've developed a system whereby we can control a throttle in flight. Thereby, at the end of the flight, we can shut off the both motors at the same time, or we can idle them down, land and taxi. It gives us a lot of choices that you normally don't have in a stunt ship. I'm sure in my own mind why I'm so attracted to a B-25. To me, it has an overall appearance that I like, and it fits within the proportions that would probably, when you enlarge them and do the little thing that you have to do to make a plane semi-scale and usable, it looks like one that would fit into the category of doable. What makes it real attractive is if you go back and read the books, and I have several books many people have sent them in, and I want to thank each one of them, you find out that it's a model that has a lot of variety in terms of paint job choices, overall, both military and civilian choices, gunship choices. Is just an unending supply of, like many models are, a lot of choices that you could use, and you can pick from mix and match. Since we're not making a scale model, there's no fidelity, but you can mix some from one and some from another and create what Joe Adamusco calls your fantasy airplane. Now, how did this plane really start? About a year ago, and maybe it was a little more, Joe Adamusco and I, who really enjoy modeling we really enjoy the same thing in modeling, and we do it for the same reason. We really just enjoy having these models sitting in our house as well as competing with them. But one of the things he had mentioned to me was that he had a friend that he worked with at Boeing who was very interested in modeling too, named Dave Downey, and Dave Downey has become part of our what I'll call design team, because we're not done designing this model yet, and I'll explain that a little more. A few thoughts on how this plane actually evolved over the course of years that I had dreamed of, and I counted, that's what I do a lot of, dreaming. I work a lot of hours in my shop, surrounded by airplane and model airplane pictures, and I like to dream of future projects. And one of the things I'm always aware of is dreaming is relatively inexpensive, so I've done a lot of it. Been at possibly as a choice if we ever build a second B-25 and we knew ahead of time what the weights would be and where we might be able to save some weight. But right now, this is the original drawing. The problem with this whole plane is this has the 750-inch wing. The wing has been changed, but I don't have the latest drawings yet. So until I get the latest drawings, we're just going to wait. I'm going to put this video aside until the latest version of these drawings come in. Wing was, of course, almost dead scale, and we're not going to be able to use that, of course. It was 750 inches, and Joe and Dave widened the aspect ratio, changed it quite a bit, thickened it up in the middle, and we're waiting right now. That's already out on a website, by the way. Just another picture of the front view. Again, I got these copies from Bob Zambelli. This is what makes this kind of a project worthwhile. Anytime you're joining two pieces of wood, you want to get the joint as nice as possible. It just saves, if you spend 5 minutes now, you'll save 10 minutes later not having to sand it. Now, that's a relatively nice skin, and I can look at how the joints open up to see if there are any pieces, and that looks pretty decent. Actually, that looks real good. Now, the trick to getting the joints to be real nice is, I found this, is just take a little piece of sandpaper. I can tear a little piece off and just ever so slightly go across the joint. And what that does, it fills up whatever gap is still there with sawdust. And you want to, don't take the sawdust off, leave the sawdust in there. But by going side to side, there's any little gap that's in there, it'll fill up. It also, the dust acts as an activator to kick the CA off. Instead of turning to popcorn, it lets it kick off, if that's the right word, at a relatively slow, since we don't need these in the next 10 seconds. But leaving that little dust on there, that's the trick to getting the nice joints. To this is, since we have tape on here, I have a little tube, it's a Teflon tube on here. I take the joint, this is the hardest part for me because I don't have real good eyes, is seeing the joint. Just put a fine bead down, do about that much. It wicks down into this. Now, from time to time on videos, we'll be wiping with a paper towel. Now you got to be careful about the third wipe down. You already have a chunk and you can put a big gouge in the wood. So what I do is move the towel over again, move the wood up. I see where my joint ended. You really can't do the whole thing. Oh, I can't anyway. And if you wind up using kicker, you wind up with what amounts to be that hard popcorny stuff that you can never seem to sand off. You'd like to make a P51 or something that has dihedral. Well, this is one of the concerns you have to have. The other concern, of course, is, and we're going to get into that on a separate tape far down the road, is the control system. A dihedral brake control system has a lot of little things you have to work around. You just can't bolt in an 1/8 inch horn and go fly the plane. We're going to get to that later. For now, we're going to go work on those wings. It looks like we're going to have a couple hours here before the New Year's party starts, but we want to get... See, there's another thing too. Time management. Anytime I can steal an hour here, an hour here, an hour here, and we were going to have company this morning. They never showed up. I wind up getting a couple hours to work in the shop. Well, some of the other things we had thought about doing, well, what can I do now? Now I have only about an hour, hour and a half. Well, when I have a small amount of time, I look for a job that I can start and finish in that time window. So I at least get something. I wouldn't want to start a big job. I wouldn't want to start carving a block for the top block. Yeah. But I can always take one panel and dress off the wing skins. And I may get 2 or 3 of them done. You never know. Again, this is a part of, I have to put the center lines on here too. Again, part of this is how accurately John cuts the cores. Another part is that we don't change it when we're running a sanding block on it. We just want to kiss the foam, but not put a bow in it. Now I'm working the 2 center sections first, then I'm going to work the 2 end sections, but I hope by the end of this day I'll have all 4 of these sections sanded out, and all the joints where 2 come together. Of course, on a traditional stunt ship you'd only have the one in the middle, but to get a really perfect fit there before we go any further. Okay, now that we have 2 panels done, we can start to see what the wing is going to look like when it's all assembled. Kind of getting a little motivated here, and I'm going to go like put a little bit of a push on, because I'd like to finish these 2 outer panels and get the whole wing laid together in one piece before the session's over. Now I tend to do this as whenever I take a coffee break in between parts, just kind of look at it from a lot of different angles. The swept forward trailing edge, and this thing has the little dihedral brakes in it. I don't know. It's going to be a pretty cool looking wing as far as I'm concerned. And I guess some people, you know, worth mentioning, some people don't think any of this is worthwhile. Just build up a normal traditional stunt ship and every year paint the leading edge a different color or something, or change a 1/4 of an inch on the rudder or whatever. Well, I don't, that's my personal thing, is I don't find that real challenging. But boy, I sure do find this challenging. This kind of a project that keeps you awake at night. Keeps you young, at least it should. How come it isn't working for me then? Now what's really saving us a lot of time is the fits on this. are a lot better than I expected them to be, and that'll help when we go to grind in the the dihedral joints, which is going to be one of the next steps. And I haven't decided yet, of course. I've been thinking about it all day. Do I want to join these two pieces and these two and then join the middle? Or do I want to join the middle, get the bell crank in, and then... See, you got a lot of choices here. But anyway, it's just one of the things I can be thinking about. I have one more panel to go. And then I can kind of stand back, look at this in full scale. I can actually, what I can do is compare it to that Miss Ashley wing, just to get a rough idea, a rough look at it. Handy that we have a spare wing that's not attached to a plane here. Anyway, it just goes a little quicker. Each panel goes a little quicker than the one before, and we're only one panel away, so we want to get this over with. Because the holding this in place is a problem. And I'm not sure now, because this angle is going to be 90 degrees coming this way. This joint might have to go halfway. I don't know if we're going to have to fine-tune this joint. Again, we can figure out how to do that if we have to, but having them all at 90 degrees to start with. That should in essence give us half of the dimensions we need. And if it doesn't, we'll have to adjust the jig or make some other accommodation to that. Now I need to reverse, I'll do this off camera, reverse everything to the mirror image and make sure I'm not making two left sides or whatever, which I've already, excuse me, almost fell into that trap. Reverse the jig for this angle, I can move it all over to the other side of the table. And when these join, that joint should be 90 degrees. For the glue to dry up, the epoxy, I can fine tune this, make sure it's parallel in every dimension. What I want to make sure is that it's, I don't have it in one way or another uneven. And from this side, of course the airfoil is different, but that I'm true with the center line. I don't want to have it up or down. Alright, once that dries, then we're just going to come back to this, trim all this off, and we'll be ready to join the wing. We could also trim some of this extra foam off in there, it's just going along for the ride. And tape it together. And I can squeeze out all the extra epoxy, make sure the two center lines are on center. See, I always try to plan what I'm going to be doing in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Because I've got 15 minutes, and by the way, these little brushes work great, Warren. They come from McMaster Car. Now what I like to do is just make sure I get a good glue footprint here, and you can see the little strings of epoxy before I do the taping. Now this, needless to say, is something we have about 45 minutes now to line this up. As soon as I flip this over, it's going to separate. Oh, I lied. And I'm not really looking for the skins to be at within a millionth of an inch. I can do a little final adjusting on that, but I want the center lines to be right on. It's the center lines that are critical right now. Now what I do is I put the tape on one side, get it attached maybe to 6 or 8 inches, and just put a little bit of tension on it so it's like a rubber band. And now I can work this. I can work my center lines. It's got to come up, and it does take. You don't ever do this with 5 minutes. You'll be really unhappy. Done that. Been there, done that. Okay. Now this side I want to put a little tension on, just a little. But I'm monitoring it every step of the way. I'm keeping my center lines in order. Now I'll flip it over and do this side. It's harder to keep with the dihedral. It's harder to keep this even. Put a little bit of tension, but it's only got to hold it maybe for an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And get rid of some of the epoxy that oozes up. And yes, that is why they make pants, so you can wipe your hands off conveniently. Okay, now I see I got a little bit of epoxy oozing up here. But basically what I'm really concerned with most of all is keeping everything on center. And you can always use a couple of pins to hold the center lines while this is drying. And I'm going to put some more tape on this. And each time I do, the tension of the tape presses out more of the epoxy and makes for a little bit nicer joint. The joint. Now before I actually make the joint, I'll rub it on the sandpaper so I have a nice clean joint, because I'll be carving through it, and halfway through it I don't want it to be that there's a spot where there isn't any glue. Now with these blocks, this back block, of course I want to get this angle in it. I can do that on a belt sander too. Get some of these angles roughed in before I even tack glue them in place.
I'm trying to get on. I'll take it a little bit at a time. Have that pretty accurate to the fuselage side.
Now I've left it just a little bit, like everything, always a little bit oversized. I'm going to rough out all these blocks, and each one of them will have, this one I already made up, that joint running right down the center, and I can keep that as my center line. May or may not serve some useful purpose in this once I lay out and get all these blocks in place. Now this one is tacked on, and I was not able to get it all the way to the end. I'll have to put a little filler piece in. I didn't want to waste that piece of wood since this was the lightest piece of wood. Now the next thing is I want to lay out this block, and this block will more or less just be a filler block. I don't even know if we're going to use it, but I need to reverse this angle, get this piece in here, and have this at a 90 degree. And this one for sure will have the center down because this is where the fuselage is the widest. Next piece, I have the joint already done. First thing I'll do is grind in that angle so we have a nice, relatively nice fit. Even though we're going to put a former at each end, I'd like to have that angle, well, relatively close anyway. And notice I made everything oversized by quite a bit, because once I start grinding that, getting this angle at 90 degrees, I can do that with the saw. Now the next thing is just to get a triangle in here, pick up this edge, and make a 90 degree cut. Maybe leave it even just a bit oversized, because we don't know if, I don't know at this point in time if I'm going to use this piece at the bottom of the fuselage or not. Then one by one I'm working my way. Notice I'm doing the bottom first, because if you're going to mess anything up or whatever, let it be on the bottom. I'll do the front block next, and then start at the top and work toward the front. Do the rest of these off camera. They're all redundant. I want to get all the block fits on the bottom, at least where all these break points are, to be identical. I get all the bottom blocks tacked on. I wasn't able to keep the center line the way, trying to use up the smaller pieces of these blocks. A lot of times it just doesn't work out, but I have the joints as accurate as I can. I need to lay out the top, and that'll be the most significant one, is the one that goes along the whole top, and that's where I'm glad I have these 41-inch blocks. Those blocks are presenting the biggest challenge of all, and I've got to make it up out of 4 individual pieces and get the angles right. And I'm making it plenty oversized so I can curve all these in, and then I'm going to make one small block on the bottom. None of these blocks up in the front are really, I'm not using up the good wood. This plane's definitely going to need some nose weight, so may as well use up these heavy blocks. This here was comprised of 4 different blocks, and I've got to get the angle in there now. That angle's not right. But this was, I'm leaving a lot of extra wood because I don't know what that final shape is going to be. I'd rather have it a little big, and I can work it in when I start doing the sculpting on this. Still not the right angle. See, but I can take a little bit off at a time with that belt sander. till I get that angle accurate. You know, the last block we need to fit, I need to get a block. We'll make one up from laminates. It's going to have an angle on it. And I've got, well, you don't see it on a tape, but this took quite a long time to fit these blocks up, the better part of a work session. I get that little block in the front, and that's probably all we're going to get done today. Get some idea of how many blocks I had to chop up to do this. This might be the biggest single carbon job that I've ever had to do. Guess we're going to find out by the end of this week. Some real tough decisions to make here. I cut up a bunch of blocks, and I was not happy because the joints, when I was doing 1.5-inch blocks and various, the joints were a problem. Now I'm just fitting this up. This is going to be way oversized, and I'll have to try to get some of this off. But basically, the nicer I can make these fits now, it'll just make it better when I actually go to pull everything apart after it's hollowed. Again, just a little bit of fit. These don't have to be perfect right now, but the better they are, that's an unusual concept. The better they are, the better they are. If you can see how that is, we're right, in fact I already went into the tape already a little bit. That would be step one. Thing that I always have trouble with, and the reason I put all these formers in here is because when you're carving something, you have to squeeze it and hold it, and so many things are happening. It's easy to put your finger through it. So having all those formers in there is nice, but this part is so big, it's like trying to hold a watermelon. I'm trying to cradle it and, hey! Get. I'm trying to cradle it. And we may have to put the pad on the table here. I didn't realize this, and I'm going into that blue tape on a regular basis. So I know I don't have my technique moving yet, so I'll stick to the bottom and get all the bottom done. In case I have to thin it, it'll be at the bottom rather than the top. Because I'd like the top to have that really nice flowing curve. The way you can get yourself in trouble is when you have a big carving job, it's like going on a long trip. You get ready for a long trip, and you do it one day at a time. You don't get bored a half hour into it and try to finish it. This is going to be very time consuming. You probably won't see on the video all how many hours went into this, but certainly going to be a lot. So get some quality video entertainment on, like Wings or something, or heaven forbid a windy video. Anyway, but you get that going and it makes the job a little easier. Now you can see because I've just started this a little while ago, I've already gone into the tape a few spots, so that saves me just big gouges that normally would have been out of that wood by now. And I can assume when I get up by the nose here, this is going to be real time consuming, because this is taking time just to do the easy parts here. But it'll be worth it. When this is done, this is going to be some special piece of artwork, I hope. For sure, the hardest part of this whole thing is getting this nose section roughed out. It's such an unusual shape. And with all these glue joints, I want to go nice and slow, even with the plane on a 45-degree angle. I'm trying to get everything squared up first so I can look at the overall shape. And that's a good thing to do whether you're building, you know, a typical any stunt ship where you have carving to do. Now, you may be thinking, well, why don't you just mold blocks? Yeah, well, you know, making the molds for this complex of a project would be very time consuming. And I'm not sure there would be much of a saving when I'm done with these blocks. They'll be relatively hollow, whether they like it or not. Once I get this contour in here, now that's the next one to work on, and get this round, it's going to start to, hopefully start to look like something like what we had in mind. I've got all of the flat angles flat now. But that front, that's going to take some, that's like carving a cowling. I really enjoy is taking my best 4 to 6 pound blocks and turning them into garbage. But sometimes curves like that
look at a drawing and see if I've got that profile the way I want it. But the more roughing I can do at the grindstone, the better it'll be. Belt sander. You can start to get that to come together.
What the actual shape that I'm working toward is, just gonna have to carve it in a little by little. Into it, and I can see I've already got this nose angle wrong, and I've made about 12 corrections to it already. Before I work up into the cockpit area, I'm working from the side view from Dave's drawing to get it as close to the side view as possible. Even though we've thinned this a bit, the side view shouldn't change at all. It's a shape that looks real easy to carve, but when you start carving it, you realize a lot of angles and things that go up into it. Where it really gets challenging was I had to put a little filler block in here. Now, whenever you're carving this kind of an angle, you've got to kind of look from the top and make a score, and then work your way into that score, especially on like a cardinal top or a top that has a defined line. And then I'll make me a little piece of paper to see that, kind of a template to see that I've got it going. But you will, all cuts go into the line. These are all rough cuts anyway, and before we're not going to do any sanding on this. Just going to be all rough cuts. Actually, it's starting to look like the spruce goose or something. I don't know. And the last thing I'm going to get done tonight is I just want to rough in this curve. And with the plane, just get this angle, just so I can look, get a feel for if this is starting to look like what I want it to look like. We know we have many days of carving and sanding and hollowing and whatever, but roughing it out. Once this part is done, we can really start to see. And from this point on, I'll be doing most of the feeling with my hand. We can see if we're going in the right direction here. In fact, if you look down from the front, I don't know if we've got that B25. Well, this is probably the end of what we're going to get done tonight. And we'll pick this up tomorrow. I'm going to clean the table. Just leave it. Come back and work on it tomorrow in the morning. Well, you hardly see it, but this was about 2 hours of carving early this morning. And I just left the mess on the table. The bottom is done now. Roughed in anyway. When I get back to the shop later, I'm going to start the sanding operation. I was hoping I could do some of this outside because there's so much dust, and I really don't like the dust in the shop, but it's just hard to believe how much carving this was altogether. But it's got the rough shape in it now, and from this point on it's usually a little bit easier to just make up some rough sanding blocks, and if possible, if we can get outside, I don't know what the weather's going to be like later, get some of this done, or the worst that can happen, we'll get over by a vacuum bench. But this is what's, the last couple of days, it's just, this is what the shop looks like, this is what everything looks like. But it's worth it. It's starting to have that B25 look. I don't know why, but it looks more like the spruce goose than anything else. Anyway, coming along. One day at a time. This is not going to be done in one day, that's for sure. Rome wasn't built in a day. Good pizza takes time in the oven. I wanted to have this part framed out with all its little machining parts and all its drilling and everything, so I've gotten one day ahead here while I'm waiting for the final drawings, and I'll get those final drawings and then I can lay out all of the little parts that go along with this. But I'd say today it was just real nice getting this part done. I'll epoxy this in place, put it in my little clamping vise and let it dry overnight, and then tomorrow or the next day I'll just make up the twin to this. Now here's one little thing you can do. This is the two-part, the SIG resin, where one tube is twice the size of the other. This gives you a working time of about 45 minutes, which is plenty to get this all lined up and put in our little vise. But a good trick to get the end grain to soak in, because if that doesn't happen, this joint becomes relatively weak. So there's a little bit of a trick here that I found. For making any crutch for any plane, whether you're making an impact or a cardinal or whatever, or if you're joining plywood doublers, you're joining motor mounts, anything to do with hardwood, this is a good choice. First off, you always want to use the slow drying if possible, because we're definitely not going to need this part back in the next 5 minutes. Put a little bit of low heat on it. This is really a trick you can use with plywood, with joining any number of things. And what you'll see is, just by feeling it, it goes from being peanut buttery to mayonnaise. In the epoxy industry, they call it the 3 stages: peanut butter, mayonnaise, and liquid. Now, as soon as it becomes liquid, and I'm using a low setting on this heat gun, then I can take my end grain pieces that are going to go in there, blot them out, because we don't need any more than that. Otherwise it's just dripping and drooling all over the place. Okay, now you can take this side, in fact. And again, there's no other way. This is a method that was shown to me, taught to me by Big Jim Greenaway. This is every crutch that I've ever made over the years. It's been absolutely flawless like this. I've even managed on some planes to make hollow motor mounts, because it's the wood between the mounts or connecting the mounts that seems to have all the difference in the world and give it that reliable motor run. Now, with this material, I can put a little more heat on this. Let it soak in. See, it's going right into the wood now because it's getting more liquidy. You can see up here on this end, it's already starting to sink in. See, what ultimately happens is most of it soaks right into the wood. Well, if you already had made this glue joint and squeezed it, the glue would be in the wood, and you will not get the quality of joint. And this is probably one of the most important joints on a whole plane. So what I do is blot this out. Make sure I don't have any. Now it's dry already, and I just put another little bit on here until I can see that it's all soaked in, and even have a little bit extra. Then I'll paint the mounts. But when I press this in place, I want to see a perfect footprint of exactly what I'm gluing.
Welcome back to the Johnny Lee Show. It's 3 o'clock and it's time for our group of the week. This week's group is the Heartbeat.
Well, I want to make sure I get some on here too. Same thing. I don't. Done. You get some little idea how that locks the motor in. And again, we'll see in time if this is going to be a worthwhile thing. But the good news is, if it doesn't work, when there's nothing here, we can't just put other holes in here and just. We have made a thing that'll be a good test in the real world without sacrificing any of the flexibility. Of course, the FAA inspector here is checking it. We've done it all up to his rigid standards. Oh, man. If you only knew what fun he is to have in the shop. My God. Anyway, but I'm sure, the point here is I'm sure this thing takes off and it's flying around and doing its thing. Well, we'll be glad that we won't be thinking about those motors. Hopefully, the word I used to use when people used to tell me how often do you tighten the engine bolts, and I'd say, you know, never. If it's done right, it should never come loose. It shouldn't be I have to take it apart, and you actually shouldn't have to take the cowling off once it's done, like for quite a while, once it's dialed in. But anyway, what the hell is he doing now? You can't believe it. He's eating Dremel tools. Ah, get away from those tools. Anyway, I think that's going to be a real And of course we're going to find out. We always accept the fact that a lot of things we do don't work out, the control horns for instance, but you don't learn anything and you don't gain anything if you're not willing to take a chance, and we're always rolling the dice here. Front that they're both 90 degrees and that they both wind up ultimately in the middle of the nacelle. See, the wire is not in the middle, but the wheel is, because if this were to retract back, prototypically we'd want it to be right in, and we'll probably ink in where the doors would normally be on this anyway. So I want to get that 4-degree angle forward because that's going to set up part of what we're going to do, and I don't know if I'm going to get time to do it today. This phone has been ringing off the hook, but I can get the nose wheel bent and then check with that 4-degree angle exactly where, if we're in positive or negative incidence. Now the trick is going to be, I'm going to get some shims or blocks or whatever. I know the table is level, and so I'll get, well, I'm just going to get maybe 1/8 of an inch of negative incidence in this, and then I'll measure that. See what I'll do, I'll make a little block of videotape and then measure the length that I need the wire to be. Okay, now my laser tells me that I have about, one number on the laser, which I don't know if that's a degree or not. I think it is. Just a slight nose down attitude. So now I need to get the wire, put the bend in for the wheel, and then once I have the wheel in position, measure this length right here. Now I have to take into account the bend that goes around, but at least I have the length now, and I know I'll bend up another wire with the correct bends, but I know that's my length now if I want to be in about 1 or 2 degrees downward, nose down attitude. And after about 16 pieces of wire being bent, anyway, we have 3 wheels. Now when we flip it over, again, I want to do the check to make sure everything is just a little bit of negative angle of attack. And the front, I would have put the bend in the front strut. I got to look at my 10 degrees. Okay, so we need a 10-degree forward sweep in the front strut. Now I think, before we even check it, I think that nose strut's got to be just maybe 1/8 of an inch longer. It just looks too far down. Even though I haven't checked it yet, it looks like... Here's the beautiful part. I'll just bend another piece of wire a little bit, maybe 1/4 of an inch longer, and then I'll see which one I like the better of the two. Like I said, wire's cheap. I want to make sure also that the wheel is in the middle of the fuselage. Even the wire, yeah, the wire can be in the middle too. What am I talking about? Alright, I'm just going to bend another piece of wire, and that's probably all I'm going to get done tonight. Now see, the laser I'm on about 1.5. Now I want to see just how much I want to add to this. So the way I can figure this out is just shim the nose wheel. Of course, you could always modify it a little bit by putting bigger or smaller wheels on. Now, let's see what that does to the laser. That's half of the amount. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go at about 1/2 degree. So it'll be pretty easy now. Just make up another wire, 1/4 of an inch longer. But that laser comes in handy. Once you have, you just never run out of things to try with it. Yeah, see, that definitely is. Oh boy, this is something. It really does look kind of like it's. Every time I use the laser, one of the things I do is go back and check. Check the table. The table's on 0. This table I check on a regular basis. Now, when that's put up on a wing, that's your double check. 0 should be 0. And so you can go, and I'm just going to guess that one of these amounts is a degree, one of those notches. And since I don't know exactly how much I want, a degree, a half a degree. Now, that new wire, I want that new wire, and I've basically got a 1/2 inch to add to it. I'm assuming these are the wheels I'm going to use. I'm not going to vary that. But the wheels can then be the fine tuning, so let me bend up that new nose wheel a half inch longer, then do all the checking over again off camera, and that'll be it. And then tomorrow we'll come back and try to make some landing gear details for this guy. I already have a couple of ideas of things I want to try. Well, finally, I think we've achieved what we're looking for today. Needless to say, just in case you were wondering, does it balance that way? No. There's a carbon fiber tank under the back holding it down. If it balanced that way, we'd be in great shape. Not really, though. Anyway, from looking at it from a lot of angles, I'm going to come down tomorrow, try to do the landing gear details. I think we have captured the essence of the model to some degree anyway. Maybe not totally, but then again, it's not a scale model. Alright, we'll be back at this tomorrow to do the details. Being honest about this, this is a hard thing to express, so I hope you'll bear with me for a minute. All through the construction of this plane and all through the development of the motors, and I guess every step of the way, to paint colors and all the choices, I've had one thing in the back of my mind above all that really didn't sit well with me. And I was afraid, I really thought that we'd get to a point in time, of course the weight of the plane is the major problem because we don't have enough wing area here to satisfy a really heavy model. But that might change over the winter if we have to. But there's one thing we can't change, no matter what, and it's one of the things that in essence is unchangeable about this project. And that is, I had made a goal when I got started with this. I didn't want to have to take it apart every time I took it outside. Now this is the first day that I've had it all, for all purposes, in one piece as a unit, and I can sit back and kind of look at it, and Chicky can look at it and whatever. But I really had, it took me about an hour. This is embarrassing, so you bear with me. It took me about an hour, and I kept thinking, well, Dopey, why don't you just go see if it'll fit through the door? Well, come on, you know, be a man, you know, suck it up and see if it fits through the door. So it's raining outside. I open the door. Then I used that it was raining as an excuse not to do that test. And I said, oh, I had coffee, and answered the phone a few times, and then I finally got disgusted, and I said, look, let's go see if it fits out the door. And you know what? It does. In one piece. So that is a major thing, and that. Now, if we could just get some termites to get in here and eat away some of this extra balsa wood and glue and paint and whatever. But we don't know, you see, and the fun part of this is we don't know if the nacelles are going to make lift or if they're going to make any lift. We don't know if, because we have asymmetrical tips, maybe they're not going to do anything. Maybe they're going to, you know, well, whatever. But one of my plans was, and I always like to leave the door open to these backdoor solutions, that if this proves to be not enough wing for this plane, that what I can certainly do is over next winter, cut this right on the paint line, add 2 inches of wing, make a block, extend the wing 2 inches, and at the same time take the flaps and extend them maybe 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, some amount that of course Dave Downey would help me calculate. But that would be a, well, hopefully we're not going to have to do that, but every time I weigh a part of this plane, I projected weights that I know work for, well, typical 60 size stunt ships. The problem is this plane is a lot bigger than a 60 size stunt ship in every way except the wing. And it's the wing that matters. So we're working on that. We're thinking about what the possibilities might or might not be to modify it. But I look at it from every end. But just knowing it goes in and out of the door now, boy, is that a significant thing. You can't imagine how much sleep I've lost over that. Of course, if I take the block out of there, the tail, it's very tail heavy. But I really and truly think it is one of the most scale looking planes if you just count the scale look. Again, from here on out though, I have to be super careful not to add one thing to this plane that doesn't have to be there. We may have to start shaving parts and like on a lighted and air dirigible, start throwing some people overboard. I don't know. But that's the challenge. If it was all so easy, you know, we'd have 20 of these. That's what makes a Ducati worth $20,000. That's what makes going to the moon exciting, because it's hard. Not everybody can go. And it's fun. You know, while that one's drying, I can lay this one out. And the objective here of having these lines, the tape on here, it allows me to know when to end the line. If you don't have tape here, where do you end it? And if you end it here and it doesn't connect, it's a problem. So now I know I don't want to go through the trim tab, but it's going to make it easy to find a corner. Now once these two are dry, I'm going to ink in all of the corners and edges, and then I'll be ready to do the ribs. You get a little spot like this where you have a little bit too much ink. The trick is let it dry and take a brand new blade and just scrape it back. And you can get all your corners and edges. Anything that doesn't look good, just let it dry, scrape it off with a brand new blade. Now that I have this much done, I have all my measurements, and it's just going to be a question of starting at one end and playing connect the dots. Time consuming a little bit maybe. And now I'm just going to go, of course, this one, go next one, next one. Now, there's another trick. You always work, if you have a bunch of lines, I found it's easier to work away from the wet ink. If you were to start and now try to go backwards, you're going back through the wet ink. You don't want to start here and then be going through your own ink. It's easier to start at one end and just work all the way down. Now the last step, of course, remove the tape. I'm going to wait till all the ink dries. Remove the tape. And then see if we want to add some details, take some away. We'll touch up any of the corners or edges. What I had to do is cut that little piece of fillet out, because in the real plane, of course, that's not where it is. So I could get the template to work on this side, and just being careful, I married up all the lines so that they're symmetrical on the other side. And as soon as I get this all inked in, then I can start on whatever rivet pattern I'm going to have, or other inking on the rudders. Now you can see what I've semi-copied off of the, well, there's no such thing as a perfect copy here. But that completes the ink. It doesn't reflect any one in particular, and there's so many variations, but just that it has that B25 look. Some of them have that window behind the pilot on top of it blocked out. Some are glass all the way up. You really have a lot of choices here, and it's just which one kind of looks the way you want it to look. After going back and doing this 2,000 times, I kind of settled on this as being the most realistic looking for what what don't forget we've stretched the nose, so I want to try to conceal that as much as possible. Now the next thing is to lay out the front windows, and of course it's going to be pretty similar to that. Now I need to jig this fuselage up. I'm going to let that dry for a minute. I need to jig this up in such a way that the nose hangs out over the table so I can work on the glass. The trick is not to get it on if you want more. If you want it darker, we put the black edges on. Don't blow a whole bunch of paint on all at once. Now I have the towel laid out here just to hold that so the nose is hanging off, and then I can work on every angle up on the nose here, and well, hopefully in one shot. We'll find out. And because the windows are such a defining feature of the model, I really want to get them, well, as nice as I like every part to be nice. Of course, we have to leave that little area in the front where the machine gun will go, or what hopefully someday will be our carbon fiber machine gun if we ever figure out how to make one realistically. The blue over this B25 base, without even going any further, I can tell this is going to look super because I've done enough candy apple work in my life to know when it looks real good at this point, it's going to look even better after the accents are put in. Now this is going to have to dry for half an hour, whatever. And then we'll come back to it and start on the accents. Now I just went outside, did a little test, painted a light bulb with clear, and we are at 99.9% humidity, and I don't want to run the risk of putting any. It really could be spraying clear the next couple of days, but I'm really at a point where I don't want to risk it. I put so much work into this, I just don't think it's really worth even. I'm just going to wait for a day when the humidity is down. You know, now I could be inking, but I'm saving the ink work on this for a day that I have a dedicated day. I don't have shop work. I want to do it on a weekend day if possible. Because what happens when I start inking and I have to keep my hands clean and things like that, I don't want to be doing this and then running a drill press and making carbon gear and things like that. So I want to save this for a dedicated day. And what happens now is when I get to this point, I really have to start showing some patience, and I'm really itching just to get out and just finish off the clear and get the buffing. But there's just a point at which you have to show some patience, and I'm at that point today. So what I've decided to do is, because we're looking at maybe having a weekend flying session this weekend, I'd like to get the pavement gear for Miss Ashley done if I can today.
I get to see what
We did the interconnected with the rivet lines that are truly scale. Oh, I'm not sure anything's truly scale on this plane. I think we did our job. I'll do the flaps tomorrow, that's for sure. That's an amazing amount of work today. You are the man. I'll tell you, I'll never ink a plane alone again.
Jeez, boy, am I thrilled about that.
Yeah, that really, I think Dave Downey would even approve of this. Dave, they're talking about you. Don't worry, spit evaporates. I spit on it before too. Tomorrow, the flaps. That is amazing. That really made it come alive. When you put the cowlings on, it really looks good. Not too prejudiced, am I? All right, that's it for today.
Wendy,
Case closed.
If you are proud of this, and you should.
I can kind of look at it and see if I'm happy. If that's adding the dimension that I'd like to have. And once that's shaded in, I think that'll, see, the lines don't connect. That's what kind of gives it the illusion that it's just the high points of a fabric covered surface. Again, I'm trying to walk this fine line between it's too busy and not realistic, or it's okay. Now the other one looks real nice too. I'm kind of happy the way that worked out. Again, I won't really know until I get all the shading done on it. Alright, I think we're ready to flip it over, and the first thing, once it's flipped over, I have to run these lines around the whole perimeter to make sure I'm not doing the top. Any line that goes to an edge has to be done so that both sides are relatively equal anyway. Now it always pays to, once you do a little section like this, just stand back, look at it from a lot of different angles and make sure it's exactly what you want. In this case, I want to get the bottom corner, the corner that has the shading, always will have the corner darkened. That really adds a little three-dimensional look too. This way we're making real good use of the time. Now in this session, my plan is, I want to try to get, of course this tentatively is ready for buffing out. This has been drying quite a while. So I've tried to leave a dedicated session that I could get all of the sanding done in one stroke of the pen, and all the buffing. That really is about enough for my arm. If I can get that done in one session. And I'm looking around just to see that I haven't missed any spots. I don't have any repairs anywhere. This is one of the parts that I'm just tickled pink with the way the windows and the front end of this came out, the anti-glare panel, the lettering. It looks representative of a B-25, and yet we have shrunk it down quite a bit relative to real scale. And we'll see when it's all put together, when it's all buffed out. I'm really looking forward to seeing this in one piece. No point even fooling around, because we know we're going to use 5, 6, 7 sheets of sandpaper, sanding that out. There's just no reason to think we're going to do this real quickly. And what I've tried to do for a part this big, I've tried to leave a dedicated day that I'm not, you know, a dedicated session is the right word. So I don't have a tendency to want to rush this through, because this for sure is one of the things. It's just going to be time consuming. There's no reasonable way to speed this up to make it go in a half an hour or something. And if you try that, you're really just going to disappoint yourself. And I want to pick the spot to start with that has the most lettering and things like that on it. And at 1200 sandpaper, I've tried 1500, I've tried 2000, I've tried 1000. 1200 seems, for my way of doing it, seems to be the best compromise. It leaves no scratches. Once you do the final shine polish out, there's for all purposes no scratches at all. Reached a little watershed in this project as far as the buffing goes, and usually the buffing is, and Joe Adamusco estimates it's about 40 hours. I estimate it's about 60. In a project like this, it's probably, it might be twice that amount. I don't know. We've been buffing away, but we're not rushing it. See, that's the whole thing. When you get to this point, everybody's tempted to rush it. Let's get it all done in one day and run out and fly it. Well, yeah, we'd like to do that too, but we've taken advantage of the fact that the weather is we've just had an inordinate amount of bad weather, rainy weather, and we've used it to our advantage because we're not rushing. If we were in the middle of having some great weather, I don't know that it's like not eating pizza pie. I don't know that my willpower would have held up as well as it did, but we're looking at, and this is the final part of this that's going to have to be taken care of. We're going to start on it tomorrow. This whole thing, I'm guessing, is going to be able to be sanded out. I'm going to try to avoid getting that last coat of clear on this, and if I can, again, that'll be one of the dominoes will fall in our favor for a change. But that's a good I wouldn't want to start that in the middle of a day. I want to start it when I'm fresh, energetic, have a good cup of coffee. Probably 2 days, day on the bottom, day on the top might be realistic. You just can't rush through it at this point in time. It's just time consuming. But when you get it done, and when it's really nicely done, boy, you really have something you can be proud of. And that's what we're trying to achieve. Not a time window standard, but a quality standard. And I have to, at moments like this, and I'm getting ready to go up to bed, it's just, I'm exhausted. There's times that I look at this and I just wonder, just wonder what my life would be like if I didn't have projects like this to work on. And even if this plane never were to fly, it has added to my enjoyment of the world of modeling. And once I get the tail on, it's going to add even more enjoyment to it. This is what holds me up, is a lot of times I'll just walk around the shop from 10 different angles, looking at the plane, looking at some detail of it, wondering if I really like it. How could I have made it better? Nothing like this project in my whole life. And I've looked at it from 1,000 different angles already, and no matter what angle I look at it from, it just looks like a B-25. And if you could imagine the emotion I'm feeling wanting to get out and fly it, it's just hard to describe. Anyway, we are at the end of this tape. We never got to make the push rod. Now this plane is ready to fly, except it's a glider. It has no motors. We have to sync the motors. We have to install a Zetron. I would allow a day for each one of those projects. I need to make a push rod and set all the controls up. And possibly a day to bench run everything, bench trim it, bench run it, weigh it. That's the part I'm not looking forward to. Just hard to describe. And for everybody that's been with us right from the first tape when we cut the wing up by John Duncan's, I guess it's just hard to describe. It's hard to describe to people that don't have an overpowering force in their life or something that they're really excited about. And I guess one of the things I think of is It really doesn't matter what you're excited about in life, as long as you're excited about something. Making a few phone calls and having a little chat room of my own here. One of the things I realized, and I may have to abandon this, is first thing I learned with this, the first day of test running, I need to have something, maybe not this, but something to direct this exhaust down away. Otherwise the whole wing gets full of oil and I don't like that. I'm not happy about that. Second thing is I'm pretty sure, not totally sure, but pretty sure, I guess is the right word, that I think we made an error in calculation when we came up with the carb sizes for this. Because having looked at some of the other choices, the Venturis and things, I realized these carburetors are carburetors that really are a lot bigger and they're really made for, let's call it, high performance.
gonna have to buy me a new pair of sneakers after he finishes flying this bomber.
You got that right, man.